Well, a wonderful Wednesday afternoon. How are you? Welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you are having a lovely Wednesday. For those of you who like to plan road trips, you're probably doing that now that the NHL schedule came out. We'll get to that. In a second, it is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province at PlayAlberta.ca. As the regular season kicks off October 8th, if you're wondering, the preseason, this will be the final preseason of 8 games. Thank goodness. They do start with a split squad on Sunday, September 21st. They have a game at home against Calgary and then a game in Calgary. Then they're in Winnipeg on the 23rd. They're at home then on the 24th, the 26th, and the 28th against Seattle, Winnipeg, and Vancouver. Then you get into their final 2 preseason games. You got in Seattle and in Vancouver on the 1st and 3rd of October. Then they'll come back, practice, and then they've got the Flames on the 8th, the Canucks on the 11th, and then the Oilers become significant road warriors to start the regular season. It's unlike anything I've seen before when I look at the Oilers schedule, in the fact that 21 of their first 35 games are on the road. And, they have a stretch where 21 of 33, because they start the season with their first 2 games at home. So 21 out of 33, pretty significant. They got some lengthy road trips in there. You got a 5-gamer, which you can quasi say is maybe an 8-gamer, because they're in New York, Rangers, then the Islanders, then the Devils, then Detroit, then Ottawa, home for 1 game against Montreal. It's like a pit stop, and then they're back on the road in Seattle and Vancouver. So it's technically a 5-game road trip. I would argue that's closer to an 8-gamer. Then you get into November, and they have a 7-game road trip starting on the 12th. It's the Wednesday of November in Philly, then the next night in Columbus. Then they go to Carolina on the Saturday, then Buffalo the Monday the 17th, then Washington Wednesday the 19th, Tampa the 20th, and then Florida on the 22nd. A 7-game road trip. And then they're back home for 1 game before they go on the road again. Now, they do have some significant time. They're in Florida, and then they really only play 1 game in a week. They play Florida on the 22nd of November. They play at home on the 25th against Dallas, and then they have 1 more game that month in Seattle on the 29th, which is a matinee game. Then they start lots of home games. They have a 5-game homestand to start the month, and then they have another road trip: Toronto, Montreal, Pittsburgh, Boston. Did you catch the theme early in the season for the Edmonton Oilers? Something that I can't recall ever happening that early in a year. The Edmonton Oilers will wrap up all their games in the Eastern time zone on December 18th. And I think there's a potential to that be a big benefit. Now, obviously, it's going to make the schedule a little bit tougher because of so many road games early. However, after December 18th, they don't have to go. They're only having an hour difference in time zone. That's significant. I really believe it is. So I think that could turn out to be a big advantage as far as wear and tear later on in the season for the Oilers. December is a very busy month for them, as they have 15 games in the month of December, and that includes the 3-day Christmas break on the 24th, the 25th, and the 26th. Then in January, they also have 15 games, and it's 15 games from the 3rd to the 31st, because they don't play on the 1st or the 2nd. So, and that ends, like, you look at, they're at home. If you're a season ticket holder, look at the month of January: the 3rd, the 6th, the 10th, the 15th, the 18th, the 20th, the 22nd, the 24th, the 26th, the 29th, and the 31st are all home games. That's 11 home games in the month of January. Season ticket holder, you're probably not loving that. You're like, I like to spread it out a little bit. Especially January at times could be the chilliest month on the calendar, but 11 road games or home games and only 4 on the road. They're in Winnipeg for 1 game. Then they go Chicago, Nashville back-to-back on the 12th and 13th, and then 1 game in Vancouver. So not, they only have to clear customs really, I guess the one time when they go into the States. So not bad. Not bad. Well, I guess when they come back. So technically 2. 1 trip, though. So that's a little bit of a benefit. February, of course, is a short month. There's only 5 games, 1 at home on the 3rd of February because they play in Calgary the 4th. Then it's the break. Now, look at this Olympic break for the Oilers. They're off from the 5th of February. They start, and then they don't play a game until the 25th. That is 3 full weeks off. So I got to look at the NHL schedule. Are all teams getting that much of a break in between? Are some going to play up until the 6th or the 7th? I don't know, but that's a massive, massive break. Now the Olympics are going on, so as a sports fan, we'll have lots to talk about. But no NHL hockey. The Oilers will come back from that break, probably have a few days practice, and then they play 3 games in 4 days, all on the road in LA, Anaheim, and San Jose. If you look at the Oilers schedule in back-to-back games in the month of October, they have 2. They're in New Jersey and Detroit on back-to-back afternoon games, which, you know what, that's not very bad travel, New Jersey to Detroit. Then the following weekend in Seattle on Saturday night, and then into Vancouver on the Sunday. So 2 sets of back-to-back in October. In the month of November, they're on the road, St. Louis and Dallas on the 3rd and 4th, Philly and Columbus the 12th and 13th, Washington and Tampa the 19th and the 20th. So now you're up to 5 back-to-back sets. Toronto, Montreal on the 13th and 14th of December. In Minnesota on an afternoon game on the 20th, and then a home to Vegas on the 21st. So now you're up to 7 back-to-back. In the month of January, the 12th and the 13th on the road. And then in Vancouver on the 17th, home to the Blues the next night, the 18th. So that is 9. Then right before the Olympic break, February 3rd and 4th, home to Toronto, on the road in Calgary. Then they return out of it back-to-back, Anaheim and LA on the 25th and the 26th. March has Dallas, St. Louis as back-to-back. And then they wrap up their season with 1 more back-to-back in Utah and San Jose on the 7th and the 8th. So that's 13 games where the Oilers play back-to-back. However, I also have them 16 times they will face a team who is on the second half of a back-to-back. Now, some of those, the Oilers will be as well. I'd have to break it down, but October has 2 of that, Montreal, Vancouver, Carolina, Winnipeg, Buffalo, Detroit, Montreal again. So both times they play the Habs. They're playing the Habs on the second half of back-to-back. Vegas, New Jersey, LA, Pittsburgh, Washington, Anaheim, Toronto, LA, and St. Louis. So they got the Kings twice as well on the second half of back-to-back games for the Kings, not the Edmonton Oilers. So overall, it's a unique schedule in the sense of very heavy on the road early. Now, I know a team will tell you, and I know some teams, they like to get the road trips out of the way early in the season. They believe that, you get on the road, you can bond a bit. And I think there's probably some truth to that. Doesn't guarantee you'll have success, but 44 of the Oilers' 82 games are against teams who didn't make the playoffs last year. Last year it was even 42 and 42. So this year, technically, if you're looking at non-playoff teams from last year, potentially easier, but some of those teams could easily be playoff teams this year. So I'm not sure I put a huge amount of stock in that. But early on, Calgary didn't make the playoffs. Vancouver didn't make the playoffs. The Rangers didn't make the playoffs. The Islanders didn't make the playoffs. Detroit didn't make the playoffs. So the only playoff team in their first 6 games is the New Jersey Devils. So technically, they could have a decent start. So we'll see. But obviously, a lot of road action early on for the Edmonton Oilers. And for some of you, plan the trips. If you're going to New York, the 14th and the 16th, and then New Jersey. That could be a fun road trip. Other ones, like, hey, if you want to go out to Florida and Tampa, I don't know if any Oiler fans want to go back to Florida again, but if you're thinking about it, there is a 20th and the 22nd in November, which includes a weekend. Those are always nice. The Toronto Montreal, that would actually be a great set of back-to-back games to go in Canada. 2 games. For some of you who don't want to travel outside the country, and I totally understand why. You go to Toronto on the 13th, Montreal the 14th of December. That'd be a pretty sweet road trip, to be honest. After Christmas, maybe you feel like I got to get away from family. The 27th and the 29th, you go to Calgary and Winnipeg. Quick, easy jaunt, if you like. So there's some options for sure. Cons, anything stand out for you on the schedule for the Oilers?
Well, I mean, for the younger generation of people still want to go have some fun on New Year's Eve. That game is something I always check out. They'll be taking on the Boston Bruins. It's a 7:30 start. So, plan accordingly with what you're going to be doing there. What I do like is the home and home with the Calgary Flames before and after the Christmas break. I think that's a really good idea. Keeping it close and maybe minimizing travel, although some players will be flying out. But I got to say, I think the matchup with the Florida Panthers, November, was it 22nd? I think that's going to be a fun one, a 5 o'clock game. And then when the Panthers make their way back to Edmonton later on in the year, in March, just the reception some of those guys are going to get. I think those games will be fun. But yeah, looking forward to this one. And just like you said, the Eastern Conference trips kind of getting them out of the way early. An interesting one there because you'll have the juice, you'll have the legs at that point, and then when the season gets going and maybe fatigue starts to play a bit of a role, well, nice to have a little bit less travel.
Yeah. So we'll see what the how it works for travel. The Oilers, the fact that they're going to do all of their Eastern games in a span of 3 road trips, that will save them on travel. There's no doubt. Because they're going to go to New York, New Jersey, Detroit, Ottawa. Boom, one fell swoop in the month of October. Then in November, a 7-gamer: Philly, Columbus, Carolina, Buffalo, Washington, Tampa, Florida. That's a long trip. You got 7 games in from the 12th to the 22nd. So that's no joke, right? What is that? 7 games in 11 days for the Oilers. So that will obviously be a test. And then their final 4 games in the East has Toronto, Montreal, Pittsburgh, and Boston. Then they wrap it up actually on the way home with a game in Minnesota. So you think about it, like there's 17 of the road games all done in 3 trips. So that is the Oilers are always going to be a high travel team just because of geography. It's like how you can't make it suddenly closer. But what you can do is limit the amount of times you leave from Edmonton to go out east. And they're only doing that 3 times. So that will, no question, limit some of their travel. I'd be curious to see what the total travel distance will be for the Oilers this year. I'm going to guess that it's going to be lower than last year simply because of having only 3 trips to eat up all 16 of your road games. Coming up on the show today, Pete Aubrey, the new goalie coach of the Oilers, will join us coming up in about 6 minutes' time. Richard Skinner, what the hell is going on in Cincinnati? They're trying to lowball one of their draft picks. They're the only team that hasn't signed their first rounder. Man, you read the clause. They're trying to basically say if you get injured, they can call back some of their money. What are we doing? Who tries to claw back money from an injury? That might be the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So we'll hear from Richard Skinner if indeed that's the case. Because if that's the case, that is beyond cheap, in my opinion. Dave McCarthy will be by from SiriusXM. We got Mark Spector, the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate. Vanessa Hettinger will be by. We're going to talk some, obviously Vanessa being a long-time skating coach, so we're going to talk to her about skating, the evolution, drills, and different things like that coming up in the 3 o'clock hour. We'll get your text, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 in our email inbox. Your thoughts, anything stand out for you on the schedule? Good, bad, indifferent? Right? I'd have to look at every other team in the league to see, who does somebody have just an egregious schedule? We do have this. Hey, Greggs, do you know how many matinee games the Oilers have this year? I know they have 1 in Seattle in November. They have 1 in New Jersey, 1 in Detroit. So that's 3. just trying to do this on the fly. They're also Minnesota. So that's 4. What else? They're not playing on Martin Luther King Day this year, so that won't be an afternoon game. San Jose on the 28th of February. That is 5. You've got Anaheim at home. They always play the Ducks at home in the afternoon, it seems. And that'll be on March 28th. And LA in April on the 11th. So not many, right? What's that, 7? So not many at all, actually, looking at the sked. So there you go. Quick break. We'll return. Peter Aubrey will join us next, the new goalie coach of the Edmonton Oilers. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where the OG Lotto 649 goes tonight. Get your tickets. PlayAlberta.ca. And you could win $22 million gold ball jackpot and the classic jackpot of $5 million. PlayAlberta.ca.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection? Incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
If you're looking for the ultimate off-road adventure, you'll find it in a Jeep Wrangler. And if you're looking for the ultimate financing deal on a Wrangler, you'll find it at St. Albert Dodge. Right now, St. Albert Dodge is offering 0% financing for up to 72 months OAC on their full selection of 2025 Jeep Wranglers. And it's a great selection. Sport, Willys, Sahara, and Rubicon, plus all the new colors, all on the lot ready to go at 0%. Come see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience, but it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-471-7380 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Get this, Metal Supermarkets now offers welding services for their customers. Simple welds, steel, stainless, and aluminum welding. TIG, MIG, and stick are all available. And I tell you, these welding helmets are really something. Like the jousters wore in the days of yore. Quick, fetch my lance.
Lance is on lunch break.
That's not what... Never mind. Metal Supermarkets, your local convenience stores for... and welding. Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio, from weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Hope you are having a lovely Wednesday. Lots going on. What about the home run? Well, it's not the home run derby, but what about the end of the All-Star game last night? We're going to get into that later. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Now, a lot of people wonder, would you do that in the regular season? I don't know. Sometimes you like it, or it might age fairly quickly. The fact that you now start the 10th inning with a runner on second base, that is significantly shortened the extra inning games, which I think is great. I don't love the shootout to decide a game, so I don't think I would like regular season games ended that way. I love it for the All-Star game. I thought it was awesome. I wouldn't have that as a regular in the regular season. Now, maybe any inning after 12. Now that argument I could see. But I would want a few extra innings first. Just like you have overtime in hockey, I'd change a bit, and that's what they changed the extra innings in baseball. So I would do that first. I wouldn't go right to it. It's just me. But share your thoughts, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440, as it's time for the Oil Report, brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton. They are Canada's number one Volvo dealership in new car sales, and their Discovery Day sales event continues till the end of the month, where you get massive savings on XC60s, XC90s, XC40 plug-in hybrids, leasing from 0.49% and saving anywhere from $3,000 up to $7,500, depending on which model you get. So recommend the 90 at volvocarsedmonton.com. As we are joined now by the new goalie coach of the Edmonton Oilers, Peter Aubrey joins us. Peter, welcome to the show. Congratulations, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks very much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Do you go by Peter or Pete? Which one do you prefer?
Either or. I guess probably Peter. Certainly, if it's written down, it's a little more balanced. So, yeah, let's go with Peter.
All right. Well, we'll go with it, man. I always like to know. So that's good. So, Peter, obviously, you were in the NHL for 8 years in the Chicago organization. And then you spent the last few seasons in the NCAA. Kind of walk us through, obviously you and Stan Bowman have a history, but the conversations maybe with you and Stan, but also with Chris Knobloch, and how you got this gig.
Yeah, no, thanks. Obviously I have that relationship with Stan and certainly enjoyed working for him in Chicago. And that was the first point of contact in this process. And, again, like, it's Chris's team, it's Chris's staff, and Stan's like, hey, I like you. I think you could be a really good fit, and I want you and Chris to connect and talk. And that was great talking with Chris and getting to know him and see how he likes to do things. And yeah, evidently he thought it'd be a good fit as well.
So, Peter, when you come in as the goalie coach, obviously, you can't change a goalie. There's certain things that they just, can't do. For instance, people tell me, hey, Stuart Skinner's got a narrow stance. It's never going to change, right? So you work on things. When you come in as a goalie coach now to a new organization, what is step one in the process for you when you start working? I guess let's start with the NHL guys first, and Skinner and Pickard.
Yeah, I guess step one, I'll take it back to the interview process and just going through a ton of video to really get a feel for their games, outside of just being a fan and watching NHL hockey and playoffs and whatnot. So doing a deeper dive there to get a feel and certainly have my thoughts and assessment with that. And then the next step with that is, I've had calls with Stewart, Calvin, and Matt Tompkins so far. So getting to know them as people and how they tick and what they're thinking about their game. So I'm really big on that human element to get things started. And then, I even just got off the phone with Stewart and Matt both today as well. So getting to know them and how they process the game. And then to your point, they're like, you're accentuating their strengths and enhancing that and making those even better.
So you mentioned how you get off the phone with them because you want to just sense what do they see? And a lot of it is, understanding how they view the game. And I guess, is it too early to say, like, what are you looking at improving this year? You kind of ask questions, or you got to see them on the ice before you get to that point?
I think it's all of that. I think innately, just as a hockey guy, a goalie guy, you watch goalies and it's probably maybe too natural of all of us to maybe form opinions or thoughts or apply our expertise. So I have that, but I try to hold that in one hand, but then as you're talking to them and what's their perspective on that. So where is some overlap on the thoughts right there? Perhaps where some ideas or openings where, hey, they suggest, hey, I really want to improve this in my game, or this is what I really like, and where can we take that? So I think that's where it starts. You find those commonalities first and really accentuate those points. And then, if there's something that I think I'm like, hey, have you considered this? And yeah, we talk about, we do video, and we're not at the stage yet of getting on the ice together, but we certainly get on the ice together and create some situations and have them solve those problems.
Peter Aubrey joins us, a new goalie coach of the Oilers. The good news about being a cup contending team is you go to the cup final. The bad news is it's a short off season. And so here we are. It's already the middle of July. There's less than 2 months really before training camp. So do you need to get on the ice right away with some of these guys? What's kind of the plan of attack or of when you want to see them face to face?
That's a great question. Yeah, I guess we're still in the conversation mode, but yeah, no question, I'll get on the ice with them at some point, whether it's, Stewart does some stuff in Kelowna going on. Talked to Calvin the other day about some stuff pre-training camp, and actually that was what the conversation with Matt Tompkins was just about. So again, I wish I had a better answer for you or more info to give you, but right now it's like, yes, I will get on the ice with them before the season, but just have to leave it at that at this point.
Now, we know that Stewart's in Kelowna, and he works with Adam Francilia, who's a trainer, right? He works on a lot of biomechanics, right? He doesn't do a ton of like RVH or any of the technical stuff, but do you have to have do you and Francilia have a conversation as well about, what are some of the things they're working on and maybe how that can jive with what you want to do on the ice?
Yeah, and again, like I'm just not at that point as I haven't yet met Adam, but again, I like working with people and learning from people and sharing ideas, and certainly makes you refine my own ideas and stuff. So we haven't done that yet, but that's going to be in the cards here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm all about, like, kind of as I mentioned before, like on the ice where we're creating drills or whatever you want to call it, creating situations where the player solves the problem. And I'm just a big believer in the body sorts itself. We're going to create a situation and Stewart's body's going to sort it, and we're going to create some constraints on certain elements that maybe encourage a certain behavior or whatnot. So yeah, body movement, like, and that all working together, like that's fantastic.
Yeah, now that's very fascinating how the body kind of sorts itself. I know talking to some other, goalie analysts and even Stewart, like if there's one thing, at times, he rotates a little bit of over rotation at times when he comes across and you end up spinning on the ice. And I'm far from a goalie expert, Peter, as you can probably attest from how I worded that. But is that, like, as a goalie coach, when you look at something like that, like, I don't think it's a snap your finger and, we do one motion and magically it's there. It's just, how do you build like those consistent patterns over and over so that allows the goalie to, to have trust in his motions at certain times or certain areas of the ice?
Yeah, I guess, like, as you talked about, getting into the actual skill acquisition part, and with two parts of that, of one, reading your environment, which is first and foremost, and hockey terms, we can say reading the play.
Yep.
But we're looking to take our cues from the environment. Now, if we have a separate bucket, we can talk about the actual physical capacities to do a move or movement or whatnot. Sure, we can work on those, I think, a little bit ahead of time. I know myself, like, I talk about replicating sensations. What does that feel like? How can we repeat that sort of stuff and not getting too stuck in the weeds of, hey, let's make sure our elbow is at this angle or whatnot with that internal focus, because that's just not, you were talking about the home run derby yesterday. Those guys aren't thinking about their elbow position when they're taking a cut. They're feeling nice and good and everything's working together. So look to apply that as well with the goalies. Now, again, I did mention we put in perhaps some constraints for how we do things, or maybe even balance, I guess. As I'm rambling here, balance is a big thing. Maybe we're starting to drill in a slightly uncomfortable position, so our body has to reorganize itself. So again, I know I'm kind of jumping a little bit all over the place right there, but yeah, I think you can work on the physical capacities of someone, but when it truly becomes a skill, it's when they have that cue from the external environment and being able to read the play so now it works together and it's retained to use in a game.
Peter Aubrey joins us, goalie coach of the Edmonton Oilers. Reading the play is massive, Peter. You've been a goalie coach now for over a decade plus. What are some things you've learned early on till now that you can help a goalie understand in reading the play and where they can improve on their reads?
Well, I think at the end of the day, the reason we all get scored on is something happens too fast for us. Even if we make a bonehead play and make a mistake, we run out of time to go and correct that. So we talk about putting ourselves in positions. Let's make that game slower. How can maybe we do our part to create a straight line shot instead of, a little bit of a lateral play where we're able to control that with our positioning and whatnot. So again, with that, I wish I had a better answer for you, but you talk about it, like know your environment. What's the most dangerous threat? What's the most likely threat? And I think as you constantly train where now the athlete's able to scan their situation, I think that improves their reads. And then obviously video as well is a wonderful tool for their play reading.
And a lot of that in your experience, when you work with guys like we talk about defensemen and defenseman needs 300 games to really kind of understand the nuances of the position. Goaltenders historically under the age of 25, there's not many of them in the NHL. There's a few Marc-Andre Fleury's and a few outliers. And as part of that, they take longer to understand reads that allows you to play better as a goalie.
Ooh, there's a lot there with that. I think that a big thing with the goalie is you're not overly protected. You need a well-rounded game.
Okay.
And so just to compare it to maybe a defenseman or forward that gets called up from the American League, okay, that forward can go get it 6 minutes. That forward can be, maybe he can go play the wing instead of having down low center responsibility. So you can do little things like that with the matchup, whereas you have a young goalie coming up, he needs to be well-rounded because he might be facing a 5v3 power play coming on. So I think just the overall rounded game. Oh, sorry, I got the ring camera going off. The well-rounded game is one thing that really makes it to take longer because I think the forwards and D can play a little bit sooner without being as well-rounded as what is necessitated at the goaltender position.
And when you talk a well-rounded game for a goalie, what would you put in the necessary pieces to be well-rounded?
Oh, wow, that's another great question. Well, I guess I really like to live with 4, I'll say, little pillars or whatnot with the first part, like you said, of reading the play, which is incredibly important. So if we throw out all the technical stuff, if we were to take a really good AAA forward, a 12-year-old forward, and he plays goalie against a bunch of 8-year-old players, he's going to do really well regardless of technique because he's going to read the play. So that's a big pillar for me. And then after we have the reading the play, I like to just look at, okay, where is the goalie in that moment? How's his positioning? Firm believer in positioning is going to stop more pucks than anything else. Then after our positioning, okay, well, we're covering something. So now what's behind us? We have to understand our coverage. So those are 3 big parts right there. And then for me, the puck stopping mentality. These are high level athletes. There's certainly a level of compete that's necessary. So those are my big pillars, I guess, that I keep coming back to. And then again, within that, I was just talking about balance. You're going to have balance. You're going to have tracking. You're going to have the reacting game and blocking game and whatnot. But I like to live in that broader base area of what's happening in front of you, where you are, what are we protecting behind us, and then a high compete level for puck stopping.
Peter, let's go back a little bit to kind of what got you interested in wanting to be a goalie coach.
That's another great question. You know what? I probably, just as I was getting older, I enjoyed it. I played college hockey. To be quite frank, I really wasn't great at goalie until maybe my junior year of college.
Okay.
And now you start hanging out with some people who are coaching goings and actually realize, there can be a couple methods to this madness here. So probably just taking an affinity to that. And I'm actually quite proud, as I was able to finish up college and play some pro hockey, I really had my focus on just kind of learning more about the position. That's probably where I really took a step of man, this is something that I really want to do. And then, evolving as a coach, I started out with the goalie technical side of it. And then as I started my coaching, I'm actually quite proud. I was able to get my master's degree once I started coaching and having a family. And so there I put a lot more focus on human behavior and relationships. And I guess took that into pro hockey where you learn more about analytics and then skill acquisition. So I guess that's a little bit my path. There's things that have impacted me through wanting and enjoying being a coach.
Peter Aubrey joins us, a new goalie coach for the Edmonton Oilers. And I always like this question because, it sounds like obviously you're somebody who has a little bit of a thirst for knowledge. You're always looking to learn more. When we talk to a young Peter Aubrey and now the Peter Aubrey today, where's the area you feel you've learned or grown the most as a coach?
That's fantastic. That's again, another real good one. I certainly think that human element, well, I feel I've been in touch with it, but that the expression, they don't care what you know till they know how much you care.
Okay.
I think that's massive. And, again, just not to be corny, but another thing that really resonates for me is they really might not remember what you told them or taught them, but they remember how you made them feel. So that's something that I really lean into. And I think with that approach, I'd call it having a fair amount of success with the goalies I've been fortunate to work with.
Now, when you're, do you ever put the pads on, Pete, anymore?
No chance. No chance. No chance.
No. Okay. So we won't see out there with Skinner and Tompkins and Pickard and all the other guys one day just bringing on the pads for fun to show them. No, that's not happening.
Yeah, we're gonna be in trouble if we get to that point.
Yeah. Okay. When was the last time you think you wore a set of goalie pads?
You know what? It was the first year after I was finished playing. I was coaching at Mercyhurst University, and it was about Christmas break. So everyone had gone home with the exception of 5 guys. So I thought, why not? I put on 25 pounds. Let's give it a go. See how it feels.
Oh, yeah.
And so that was probably a great thing that I learned right there. I'm like, whoa. I got to take care of that and get back in shape. So that's probably a valuable lesson I learned from my early days of coaching to also take care of myself. But that was, that was the only time that I've done it since. And to be quite fair, probably if I hadn't been coaching, I might be playing men's league as a forward or something like that. But the thirst and desire on the coaching side really fulfills me hockey wise.
Okay. Now, how's your shot? Because so if you're not putting the pads, I see a lot of goalie coaches are on the ice, you're working with the guy and you're doing a lot of the shooting. How's your shot?
Yeah, the Oilers did not recruit me for my shooting either.
Okay.
So I'm sorry to be a little bit disappointment there. No, again, I'm a big observer when we're coaching, and the best training tools I think are other teammates for sure.
One last one for you. As a goalie coach, how much will you work with Kelly Gard, who's in Bakersfield?
Yeah, that's great. We're actually on a call tomorrow with him and Jeff Saleko.
Okay.
I've spoken with Kelly a couple times. Sal I've known for quite some time. So yeah, really excited about the group of guys that we have and really the communication that's already been established going into the job with those guys. So yeah, no, I expect us to have regular phone calls and conversations, know what's going on. I think that's important. Players get called up, and for myself, those are other sets of eyes that can help me. And I certainly think that perhaps there's a tidbit here or there that, I might be able to share and help with the other guys as well.
Well, Peter, we look forward to seeing you face to face later on. I guess into the fall. Congratulations on getting back into the NHL, and best of luck.
Thank you very much for having me on and welcoming to Edmonton. Thank you.
You betcha. There's Peter Aubrey. Clearly, he knows a good question. I think that's obvious. You know what? It is true. Like so much talking to other goalie coaches. I remember when we had Calvin Pickard on earlier this year for an hour, and he talked like different goalie coaches he'd worked with. Like they're not making a massive change to your style. There's a little tweak here or there for sure. But a lot of it is knowing what your foundation is, building off of it, and really communicating with you in a way that you understand, and and definitely that the goalie coach got to have your back 100% as a goalie, right? It can be a very forgiveless position. I would say there's not a lot of, oh, geez, goalie didn't have it tonight. Forward has a bad game, defenseman has a bad game. Not so much in the level of if a goalie has a bad game. Just isn't. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Your thoughts on Aubrey and what he's going to work with the orders. It'll be interesting to see. I do expect that he'll take a trip out to Kelowna at some point here in the next few weeks to see Skinner and Francilia and probably Pickard. And it's a short period of time now. The new coaches will want to get acclimatized as quickly as they can to the players and everything else. And so I'm sure we'll see Aubrey and Edmonton very soon. We'll return, and signing draft picks usually isn't this hard, but sometimes people make it harder than it should be. We'll discuss that next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
You have a choice, and it's a hard one. GMC employee pricing or 0% financing at Wolf GMC Buick. A hard choice, but also super awesome. Get GMC employee pricing on our Sierra lineup, from the Sierra half-ton to the heavy duties. If you have cash, get discounts over $12,000 on many of our Sierras, along with GMC pricing. Or choose 0% financing on our Sierra half-ton lineup. And what a great selection of GMC terrains and fabulous Buick SUVs to pick from. So many choices. But one thing's for sure, you are getting the best deal at Wolf GMC Buick.
When you look at a pipe, you just see a pipe. But at GS Construction, we know it's not just a pipe. It's the future water flowing to a growing family's home, or the sewer line for a new school. At GS Construction, we know every trench we dig connects people to what matters. And if you'd like to be part of that vision of making a better future, we're hiring. Right now, GS Construction is looking for experienced foremen to join our team. So apply today at gsconstruction.ca. GS Construction, underground with purpose.
It's a special 11 a.m. game this Sunday as your Edmonton Riverhawks host baseball and brunch, featuring pre-game mimosas, breakfast sandwiches, and all your favorite pirate and princess characters. Get your tickets today to watch the Hawks play at gohawks.ca.
Tee off to win with Cattail Crossing's $10,000 hole-in-one challenge, powered by Sports 1440, Canada's first ever Aqua Range event. Just walk up, grab some golf balls, and start swinging. Or book a VIP bay today. Win $10,000 with a hole-in-one, plus great secondary hole and leaderboard prizes. Closest to the pin and monthly winners will battle for a $50,000 grand prize. The hole-in-one challenge, open Thursday to Sunday, noon till 8 through August. Weather permitting, cattailcrossing.ca.
Breaking news, McDonald's international menu items are vanishing. McPizza Bites missing in Italy. Big Rusty stolen from Germany. Teriyaki chicken sandwich disappears in Japan. And a Biscoff McFlurry blackout in Belgium. Oh, it's just in. We can now confirm the stolen favorites have resurfaced at McDonald's Canada. The international menu heist. Try them all while you can. For a limited time in participating McDonald's in Canada.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at cantork.com.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.245. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440. Hey, Greg's, I love how much confidence you said forgivelessness. It's my new word. Yeah, crotch. You know what? I was hoping that one would just slide through. The minute I said it, I was like, that's not even a word. I was trying to say not very forgiving and just brutal. So, yes. Forgivelessness. We might just throw that one in there now. It's not really a word, but we can pretend it is. It's not a lie, Jerry, if you believe it. The greatest Costanza line maybe in the history of Seinfeld. So, hey, if I believe it's a word, then we'll pretend it is, even though it isn't. So, any of the kids out there, it's summertime. Okay, don't want you to go to school next year thinking you learn new words, because that's a faux pas. It's not a real word. But feel free to use it. Like, look at the slang kids use now. They're not even real words. All right, just let me cook, kids. Just let me cook. I think that's what the kids are saying today. Let's talk some football. Oof. A little hot right now in Cincinnati as we get to our football report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit. Stay cool all summer long at legacyheating.ca. As Richard Skinner, Bengals beat reporter, joins us from Cincinnati. And Richard, this is a fascinating story. The Bengals, the only team that haven't signed their first round pick. And, there's all sorts of things swirling, whether there's conditions that maybe even they're asking for money back if there's an injury for Shemar Stewart. Can you give us some insight, like exactly what's going on here? And are those rumblings true as far as some of the stipulations they want in the contract?
Yeah, we don't know because neither side's really talking about it. But I will tell you this. It involves language that would void some guarantees in the last couple of years of his contract. So just to give the education, I know you guys know this, but for the audience maybe, rookie contracts, first round pick rookie contracts especially, have become guaranteed basically. 4-year deal guaranteed, all the money's guaranteed. And it's slotted at a certain number. I mean, both sides know the number is roughly $18.8 million. There's no negotiating on either side for that. And here's the number, but then it's a matter of how do you divvy up that number? And do you guarantee that number fully? Because NFL contracts, for the most part, are not guaranteed. You get signing bonus money. That's guaranteed because you get it when you sign, or it's prorated out, after you sign it. But that money's already guaranteed. And then, some contracts, a Joe Burrow contract, he has some years that have guaranteed monies in it. Jamar Chase, who just signed, has some guaranteed monies in his contract. The Bengals aren't big on that, but a lot of teams are. The one that's the most famous is obviously Deshaun Watson being fully guaranteed for a ridiculous amount. And that's kind of some of the monkey wrench, I think, in a lot of these contracts where now agents are going, wait a minute, they did it. How about you guys start doing it? So anyway, it's about, a way to void future guaranteed money for him in that contract. And that's the thing nobody knows. I was reading a piece actually just about an hour ago on CBS Sports. Joel Corey, who's an agent, I thought he wrote a good piece.
Yes.
And I didn't realize this. He said, disputes over this type of language with rookie contracts are rare. The last one occurred in 2018 with Roquan Smith. And he said, and this would be, I think I'd balk at this myself. It said, he and his agents objected to language where the team he played for at the time, the Bears, had the right to void his guarantees for an ejection or suspension from a game. And, that's one of those that you're like, okay, that can happen on a whim, right? You lose your mind in a second, and that's got a chance to. So Shemar Stewart is a big risk-reward draft pick. The risk is he didn't have a lot of productivity in college. The potential reward is his athleticism traits are off the charts. I mean, is there a contract in there that says if you don't record 5 sacks by the time your third year comes along? I don't know if that's the case, but I'm giving you the nuclear option here of, they put a pretty firm line in the sand of saying, no, we want what everybody else has gotten in the past from you guys. We want fully guaranteed contract, no language that says otherwise. And that's where we sit today.
Now it's only July 16th. There is time. Do you think this gets rectified? Do you expect him at camp?
I don't.
Really?
I don't. I think it would have been rectified by now because both sides are pretty clear on where they stand. Like he doesn't want his agent doesn't want the language that's currently in there.
Mm-hmm.
Bengals clearly do. They've not balked at that. This isn't like the Trey Hendrickson situation, which I'm guessing we're going to talk about in a minute.
Yeah.
Where, we have our number, you have your number. Okay, now let's talk. All right. We'll come up here, you come down there. We'll give you, a third year where you were, we want to really only give you two. There's no negotiating with this. The only thing I've proposed is, do you give him more signing bonus money that obviously, as I mentioned, that's guaranteed. And then, there's less that you have to guarantee in future years, but I don't know if you want to do that either. So I don't. I mean, this feels very line in the sand. Now we'll see how, where that takes us. Does Shemar Stewart sit out the season and re-enter the draft next year? I don't think any NFL team wants to see that happen. But in today's NIL environment, guys are coming out of college with some, change in their pocket. It's not $18 million fairly life-changing money that most of us would believe, but it's enough change in the pocket to potentially say something like, if you don't do it my way, I'm not coming back. I'm not going to sign with you guys. I'll sit out. I'll re-enter the draft, and we'll see what happens there. Now, he could cost himself a bunch of money re-enter the draft, right? Where teams go, we're not dealing with this. So we'll draft you in the 5th round, and you won't get anywhere close to what you think you're going to get. So this is a fascinating case study, not only for him, but I think for the league and kind of in a weird way, the future of the draft.
Well, that's but he's the only one. Is he asking for wording in a contract that is glaringly different than the other rookies?
No, but it's glaringly different from anything the Bengals have ever done. So the question is, why this kid? Why now? Why is he the guinea pig? I think that's where they stand on that. And the other part is, let's not forget, I believe, and I'm doing this off the top of my head today because I only saw this a couple of days ago. I know this. Their second-round pick, Demetrius Knight, is not signed either.
Mm-hmm.
30 of the 32 second-round picks in the league are not signed. I think only 2 guys have signed, and the 2 guys have signed have gotten fully guaranteed deals. As I mentioned, first-round picks nowadays are normally fully guaranteed. Everybody's fully guaranteed. Like, it's $18.8 million. We'll figure out how to dole it out, but that's what you're going to get over the next 4 years is $18.8 million or $26.5 million or whatever the number is. Second-round picks are kind of in a weird way colluding to the point of, hey, we want guaranteed money too. And Demetrius Knight is in that camp. So technically their first 2 draft picks are not signed. Now, Demetrius Knight's a little bit different. He signed a waiver to be able to participate in the off-season program, which he did. Shemar chose not to. And Shemar could have done that too, because remember Travis Hunter hadn't signed it at the point of the spring. And he signed a waiver to practice. And again, there's a part of me that says, hey, sign the waiver and just practice, dude. It's light practice. It's OTAs. It's not, you're not going full contact, full bore. But the Bengals also had Jonah Williams back in 18 or 19. He suffered a season-ending pec injury just doing a drill in practice. So weird stuff can happen. So I get if a guy doesn't want to sign and say, I don't want to do anything until I have the security of my contract. So this has been interesting because the Bengals don't blink, and his side has never seemed to want to blink. I mean, the famous day we talked to him where he literally said, y'all want to, didn't mean us as y'all, but talking about the Bengals management, y'all want to win arguments more than games. And that comment resonated with a lot of people. And that's the thing. The Bengals management doesn't really get benefit of the doubt here because of the way they've done contracts in the past with people, where it feels like everything is a drawn out negotiation, and they let Andrew Whitworth walk when he was still a valuable player, and they didn't want to pay his asking rate. And so when that happens time and time again, you don't get benefit of the doubt, unfortunately.
No, that's very true. As we're talking Bengals with Richard Skinner, and you mentioned these second rounders, and I find it fascinating. I'm sure some teams are like, what the hell are you doing, Texas? Because the Houston Texans, they were the ones who started it, right? They signed Jaden Higgins to the rookie contract at the first guaranteed money as a second rounder. And I don't know if that every second round guy is going to get fully guaranteed, but I think they're going to probably get bigger signing bonuses. And, you know, and I understand the NFL isn't short of money, but hey, rich owners, they don't want to just give away money. Right. And we've seen lots of picks that do not pan out over the term of their contracts, and some get injured and some let go. When you look at the Bengals, when it comes to money, and, you know, a rookie is one thing, but like their defense was terrible last year. And their best defensive player is Trey Hendrickson. They're signing all their best offensive guys. Why is Hendrickson, like, what's led to this, you know, standoff thus far?
Yeah, it's really about a couple of things. The length of term, which has not been discussed, but you know, does he want 3 years, and are they asking for 2 or even just 1? I can't imagine he would take 1, because the most recent extension he signed is what's gotten him in the pickle he's in.
Yes, he
signed a 1-year extension at what seemed like a fairly fair price at the time, and then the market's gone kind of crazy at that position, and he outperformed it. Okay, I'll give him full credit for outperforming that contract based on where the market is, but the market went haywire. I mean, Myles Garrett signed for $40 million, Max Crosby signed for $35 million, Danielle Hunter signed for $35 million, and Myles Garrett's terrific. He's arguably the best wrecking defensive end in football, and Max Crosby is ridiculous. I think the Bengals were probably, you know, in this offseason looking to get Trey somewhere in the mid-20s. Well, then the market went haywire. And when he talked to us back in May on a random Tuesday where he just showed up to OTAs to give an impromptu 25-minute press conference, he brought up where the market is, and he says, I don't have to apologize for that. And he's right in the one degree that, no, you're right. You don't have to apologize for where the market went. At the same time, if you're the Bengals, he's 31 years old, about to be 32. You don't pay for past production in this league. You pay for what you believe the current and or future production is going to be. And it may be massive. He may have a lot left in the tank. He probably does the way he takes care of himself. But you got to weigh that. And if you look and go, no, I don't care where the market went. I don't care that the Raiders were dumb. I don't care that the Browns were dumb. I don't care that the Texans were dumb. Here's our number, which we believe is in the high 20s and probably will get over 30 when push comes to shove. But if he's put the line in the sand of, no, I want 35 mil, I want Max Crosby, Neil Hunter money, and the Bengals simply say, no, we don't believe that's where the market should be, even though that's where the market is, 32 and 2 years, and he's asking for maybe 3 years. I do think this one eventually gets done because, honestly, I don't think he has a lot of leverage here. At the same time, the Bengals don't have a lot of leverage either because Shemar Stewart's holding out at the same time. As much as I just, went on a tirade a little bit about the Bengals management of the Shemar Stewart situation, I don't think they're completely in the wrong on the Trey situation. Like I've said this in this marketplace where you don't, just because other teams do dumb things doesn't mean you have to do dumb things. And I think we all understand what market rate is, right? I mean, you see where it goes. You go, okay, well, that's what the market is. Well, that's what the market is for dumb teams. Doesn't mean you got to be dumb too.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to be in some. It's the difference right now is 20 mil to 35 mil. What's the happy medium, right? 32 and change. I mean, can we get to that point and both sides be happy? I think you can probably get there.
I did love what you said about just because other teams are dumb. Because, hey, in every sport, there's going to be somebody who's an outlier and it's a big raise. And people are like, what did that guy sign for? And then that's the standard. Well, no, that's not the standard. That's somewhat of the outlier. Now, I know the NFL, the contracts keep going up. But, when you look at Hendrickson, and let's just say hypothetically, they can't reach an agreement here. The stalemate sticks. Do they trade him? What do you think happens?
I think they're going to say, buddy, if you want to go to free agency, you're going to play on the current contract. You're under contract. That part. I mean, Shemar Stewart's not under contract at the moment.
Yes,
but Trey Hendrickson is, and he's going to make roughly $1 million per game check. And Trey likes his money. And when push comes to shove, when they play in Cleveland or whatever that is, September 7th, and there's a chance for him to either make $1 million game check or not, I think he blinks and takes the $1 million game check and bets on himself. Last year, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins were in this kind of conversation of, what are they going to do? Is T going to play on the franchise tag? Is Jamar going to play? And Jamar had a hold in last training camp. And finally, the first game, he said, okay, I blink, I'll play. I'm going to bet on myself. Well, he bet on himself and had a triple crown season where he was top pass catcher, top pass receiving guy, top yardage guy, top touchdown receiver, and ended up making $40+ million per year on average, the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. He bet on himself and he won. T. Higgins bet on himself and he won. I think Trey Hendrickson, I don't think it's unreasonable to say, man, you signed the deal. I mean, nobody put a gun to your head and said, hey, sign this extension. You and your agent did it. You're under contract, and hence you have to play. And if he doesn't play, if he says, I'm sitting out the whole season, well, his year doesn't toll, so he's still Bengals property next year. And he's going to have to play eventually here. And I think if push comes to shove, if neither side blinks on this and they both just stand their ground, that Trey eventually says, okay, I'm going to play. I'm going to bet on myself and see you later.
And let's just look overall at the Bengals defense. They didn't really add anything else. Why? Like, what are they seeing in their defense that I'm not?
Well, they did in a way. So it's funny. I'm actually writing my last positional analysis as right before you guys were called. And I swear to God, all three positional places on the Bengals defense, from the line to the linebackers and the secondary, the headline is questions abound about. So there are questions across the board. They did sign TJ Slayton, a defensive tackle from the Packers, who's a run stopper, and that kind of fills the void that was left by DJ Reader leaving. They let DJ go to free agency after he had gotten hurt, and TJ is one of the better run stoppers in the league. They did draft two linebackers, Demetrius Knight and Barrett Carter, and Demetrius ran first team with Logan Wilson in the OTA sessions. They also signed Oren Burks, who was a valuable backup piece with the Eagles. The one place that's interesting to me that they haven't is in the secondary, especially at safety. There are some veteran safeties out there in free agency that nobody's touched to this point. And, maybe people kicked the tires and said, no, thanks. But the Bengals could use one. Their two starting safeties last year, Geno Stone and Jordan Battle, according to ProFootballFocus.com, they both ranked 136th out of 171 safeties. It's analytical. You can believe what you want to believe if you like their numbers or believe their grades, but that's kind of telling what the eyeballs told us, like they weren't very good. Behind them, Tyson Anderson has been nothing but a special teams player. Doesn't mean he can't play safety, but so far he got drafted in 2022. He's never played a single snap in a regular season game. And then Dejon Anthony, a 7th-round pick from last year, played all of 10 snaps. So they have literally no depth behind 2 bad safeties. That's not a very good place to be.
No, it is not. Now, their offense is capable of scoring 30 points a game, and they might have to.
Yes, it is.
Right? Like, that's the thing. Like, they might just say, let's take the over every game, and the Bengals are going to score a lot, and they're going to give up a lot.
Yeah, I mean, the sad part was I think I don't have the number in front of me. They scored over 30 points 3 different times or 4 different times they lost last year. So even scoring over 30 is not the safe zone. But I think they think 2 things, and I don't know if they're right on this because I like Lou Anarumo, the defensive coordinator who was fired. They fired him. They got Al Golden from Notre Dame, and I think their belief is that Al is going to have the magic touch to fix some of the things. And to what you guys were talking about, you don't need this defense to be top 5, right? And it'd be nice if it was, but get to middle of the pack, even get to 20th in the NFL, 19th in the NFL, and with this offense, you are going to win a lot of games.
Really appreciate the rundown, Richard. Thanks so much for this. Enjoy your last piece, and we'll talk to you again soon.
You bet. Take care, guys. Take care.
Richard Skinner, Bengals beat reporter. It's just fascinating to see, Cons. I know you follow the NFL a lot closer than I do. Shemar Stewart, is he out of line here? What do you make of this? And ultimately, do you think it gets rectified?
I think it has to, because for Shemar Stewart, I mean, he has to play football. He has to get reps. He has to get on the field. But I do agree with what he said. Like, are you more content to win an argument, or do you want to win football games? And the Cincinnati Bengals need to win football games. They need to give Joe Burrow and the offensive side of the football some support on the other side. And, with Trey Hendrickson and now Stewart, I mean, they just have to do it. They have to let this happen. And I mean, you drafted him for a reason. You believe in him. Because you go look at his college stats, Gregor, like it's 4.5 sacks or whatever it is in 3 years. Like, he hasn't put up mass production, but they believe in that skill set. They think it can work. So if it's me, I'm saying, forget the past. Moving forward, cap's going to keep on going up. You do your due diligence on this guy, pay him, and let that be kind of the plan going forward, because you got to get him out there. That defense needs the help.
Yeah, very true. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update. Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Get in the game. Your one-stop shop for casino, lottery, instance, sports, live dealer, and more. PlayAlberta.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
The 2025-26 schedule was released earlier today. The Oilers hosting the Flames to kick off the season on October 8th. The Stanley Cup rematch in Sunrise Falls on November 22nd. Then the season concludes at Rogers Place, a meeting with the Canucks on April 16th. In the association, Bradley Beal and the Phoenix Suns have agreed to a contract buyout. Beal is expected to sign a 2-year, $11 million deal with the Clippers once the buyout is official. In the CFL, Sean Lemon, reinstated by the league. He was suspended indefinitely back in 2024 for wagering on league games in 2021. Any future violations of the league's match manipulation policy will result in a lifetime ban. And WCL All-Star Game today. 3 Riverhawks will take part in that one. It gets going at 7:35 in Bellingham. The Riverhawks will be back in action Friday night when they host Kamloops in the WNBA. 2 finals already. Dream over the Sky, 86-49. And the Mercury falling to the Lynx, 79-66. Right now, just wrapping up, the Storm on top of the Valkyrie, 63-58. Later tonight, it's the Liberty taking on the Fever, and the Aces up against the Wings of Arlington. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by 01's Vanessa Hettinger and hear another edition of Cam Tate's 2-Minute Warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
At On the Rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tunes.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave ya with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best live DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Chat Ave and 118th.
Canada's biggest appliance sale is at the Brick. Get up to $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Convertible fridge freezers start at just $199. Barbecue start at just $299. Get up to 60% off clearance models and below cost scratch and dent items in store only. Plus, pay 0% interest on appliances until 2029. Best of all, they'll beat any competitor's advertised price. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Mr. Rooter rides in a hot air balloon.
Oh, wow. You can really see it all from up here. The river crossing the city like a water line, the Walterdale like PVC pipes, and the cars circling the Anthony Henday like waste swirling a toilet bowl. Which reminds me, which way to the bathroom?
There's no toilet in a hot air balloon.
Well, I will have to remedy that.
For a plumber who soars above the others, trust Mr. Rooter.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe that life shouldn't hurt. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't know that sometimes it really hurts. I mean, we've seen people at their worst moments in life, when they feel they have nowhere to turn, or at a time when they felt like their problem just wouldn't ever go away. We've also seen people who thought to themselves, it'll just go away on its own, or this is no big deal. I don't want to bother anyone about this. Don't know where to turn to, or think it's no big deal. Either way, we have the technology, techniques, and skills to help you get back to it, whatever your it may be. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug in.
Day afternoon. How are you? Welcome.
Account today.
Come back.
All three positional places abound about.
She said it's cold outside. She has no raincoat.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 3 o'clock, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having a lovely Wednesday afternoon. Coming up later on the show, Dave McCarthy, Mark Spector. We might even replay Peter Aubrey. Also, Vanessa Hettinger, of course, a longtime skating coach, skills coach now with 01 Hockeyology. We're going to talk a little skill development and skating, which in the world of hockey is a pretty important thing. So that's coming up in about 12 minutes time. We got a lot of texts, 833-401-1440. Hey, Gregor, should the Elks bring in Sean Lemon or his rights on the holdout list? I think he's a free agent. Would the Elks bring him in? I don't know, maybe. He hasn't played in a while. Now, I know he got spent basically for betting on a game that he played in for anybody out there. So it wasn't like a lack of skill, just a lack of common sense, really. My gut impact would be no. I don't think so. But considering their D-line hasn't had a ton of pressure, I can see why you'd bring it up, and it's probably fair. I'd have to ask Ed Hervey if they're serious about it. Like, how good a shape has Sean Lemon stayed in? That would be my first question. You track him down. What kind of shape are you in? Have you been training? Have you been waiting for this to end and you could come back? So I think the fact that he did get reinstated, I would like to believe he's being staying in shape, but we'll never fully know until he gets there. But my gut would say, I don't know if you're holding out hope that an aging Sean Lemon is going to be the guy who can jumpstart your D-line. Now, I guess he'll be 37 next month. Athletes nowadays are playing longer than ever before. So, maybe I got to readjust my thinking on, maybe 37 isn't that old. Like last year he played 4 games, had 1 sack in the 4 games that he played in. So, he had 9 sacks the year before, 14 the year before that. So Maybe it's not a bad idea considering just where they've been at. But I remember he was with the Elks. Remember, then they cut him. Connor, remember that?
I remember watching him at camp, and I could not believe they cut him. I thought he was their best pass rusher that year.
Yeah, and that was the year he went on to get 14 sacks, was it not? In Calgary?
8 and then 14 the following
14,
year.
yeah.
8 in 11 games.
Mm-hmm.
It blew my mind when they cut him that year.
Yeah, wow, those are some of the classic Chris Jones quick draw McGraw evaluations. So not very good at all. Hey, Greg's, your thoughts on the Oilers' schedule? I heard you talking about all their Eastern games done. Is that good or bad? Well, I honestly think it's good. So for those who don't know, the Oilers, you have to play every Eastern team once. So they got 16 games in the Eastern Conference this year, Eastern time zone. All 16 are wrapped up in 3 road trips. They got a 5-gamer, a 7-gamer, and then they have another 5-gamer, but obviously there's only 4 left. And then they finish that road trip in Minnesota. So you're only going out east 3 times essentially. So that is less travel. I'll be curious to look at what the Oilers' travel is this year, because sometimes they've had as many as 5 trips out east to get all the road trips, to get all those games in. And that's not ideal. So they did it in 3. Now, the counterpoint to that is that's a lot of road games early on in the season. You've got a 5-gamer, you've got a 7-gamer, then you have another 5-gamer. Now, the Oilers are a good team. I know some people, despite them going to back-to-back Stanley Cup finals, there are some people who think, well, because they didn't win, that they're brutal. The Oilers are far from brutal. I think the Oilers will be fine. Will they potentially be behind teams early on? Yeah, maybe. Now, I'd have to go look at Vegas's schedule and look at LA's schedule to see, do they have a heavy advantage? I think it was LA last year. LA kind of started like this. Like they had a huge road trip. I think they had like because they were redoing their dressing room. Didn't they have like a 10 or 11 gamer to start? Something like that. So their first road trip is New York, New Jersey, Detroit, and Ottawa. And, Ottawa made the playoffs. The Devils made the playoffs, but they're not dominant teams. So I don't think that road trip should be that hard, but the Rangers have a new coach. The Islanders have a new coach. Detroit has a new coach. So they'll all be fired up. I'm going to say it's better because the Oilers are a team that believe they have Stanley Cup aspirations, and the fact that they don't have to travel outside of the central time zone or Pacific, and Pacific doesn't really matter to them. It's 1 hour difference, but it benefits them. So I would say it's a good thing. So you have all of January, all of February, all of March, all of April, all of May. The only time from December 18th that you would go to the Eastern time zone would be for the Stanley Cup final in June. So I think that is, to me, that's a good thing. Now, the one thing that I'm curious about is their January schedule where they play 11 to 15 games at home. And I know it sounds, no travel, right? They only cross into the States once. They go to Chicago and Nashville on the 12th and 13th, and that's it. The rest of the time they're in Edmonton, or they have 1 game in Vancouver and 1 game in Winnipeg. So that part of it's good. But too long at home after a while, as odd as it sounds, that becomes sometimes not a great thing. And the Oilers from the 15th of January until the end of February, really till the end of February, they're at home basically the whole time. They got 1 road game in Vancouver where they play the 17th. They fly right back as they play at home on the 18th. And then they have a road game in Calgary on February 4th. And then they go on a 3-week break. Now, you're not in Edmonton, so that part's good for them. Like, they'll go travel somewhere, do whatever. But I've talked to players and coaches, and too much of anything isn't necessarily great. And when you're at home that long, it can be a little bit of an issue for sure. So the January schedule, while there's no bad travel, I guess it's up to them to see. Now, health obviously is the bigger factor here. If the Oilers start on the road and they get some key injuries early in the season, well, that could make for a real tough start. Hey, Greg, do you know how many games the Oilers play where the other team's on back-to-back? Yeah, it's 16. 16 times this year. The Oilers play 13 sets of back-to-back, but 16 times they will play teams who are playing the second half of back-to-back. Now, I haven't looked to see how many of those the Oilers are on a second half of back-to-back. I know one in Montreal. The Oilers are in Toronto on the 13th, Montreal the 14th, so they're both playing back-to-back, so it kind of negates it, but 16 times they have it. So that's a good thing, I believe, for the Oilers. When we return, we're going to talk skill development, skating, and more with Vanessa Hettinger live in studio. It's the Jason Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Breaking news, McDonald's international menu items are vanishing. McPizza Bites missing in Italy. Big Rusty stolen from Germany. Teriyaki chicken sandwich disappears in Japan. And a Biscoff McFlurry blackout in Belgium. Oh, this just in. We can now confirm the stolen favorites have resurfaced at McDonald's Canada. The international menu heist. Try them all while you can. For a limited time in participating McDonald's in Canada.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
Look, there it is. 4 days of basketball at its best. Hoop City 2025, North America's largest FIBA 3x3 showcase. The top 4 Olympic teams on both men's and women's categories, featuring Canada's women's Olympic team with Edmonton's own Michelle and Catherine Plouffe. More than just hoops. There's entertainment, long-distance shootout, Grand Slam showcase, plus interactive games and prizes for everyone. Hoop City 3x3 Basketball Festival, July 31st to August 3rd. Ice Palace and West Edmonton Mall. Admission is free, so bring the whole family.
Imagine a family get-together where the smiles are as genuine as the conversations. That's the feeling you get at Nisku Ford, a family-owned dealership where finding a new Ford feels just like catching up with old friends.
Make sure to swing by Nisku Ford in July to take advantage of rates as low as 0%, or choose rebates as high as $6,000 on 2025 models.
The coffee's on, so drive into Nisku Ford or visit niskuford.ca today. Above expectations.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV. Our average used RV sells for around 30 grand. Some are more, some are less. And literally no one has 30 G's just sitting in their checking account.
Monthly payments are the best way to get the used RV that's right for your family.
That's right, Bob. Financing should be a stress-free process. But let me tell you a little secret. My granddaughters think I'm a model citizen. When I was young once. And if you look back into my credit history, you can see that it wasn't always excellent.
Perfect credit is nice, but not easily achievable.
You said it, Bob, but less than perfect credit is not a good reason to keep you from the great outdoors this season. I built our financing plans for the real world. And in the real world, nobody has a perfect credit score. So let's talk about how easy it is to make your favorite used RV affordable. As long as you promise not to tell Saxon and Goldie that I'm not perfect.
NoBullRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Use promo code Gregor and get 20% off your order all day, every day. That's promo code Gregor before entering your order at papajohns.ca.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.320. Oh, it's a great tune. A little hip for you on a Wednesday afternoon. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you as we are going to go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical. Building owners, you can earn a refundable federal tax rebate up to 30% off of a solar project's capital cost. It's called the ITC. You can learn more. Action Electrical can set you up and save you a boatload of money. actionelectrical.net. And we're going to talk now's the time really for hey, NHL players are doing it, Junior players are doing it. Everybody in the offseason now, you want to work on some things to improve your game. And we have one of the best coaches in the city that can help you out. Vanessa Hettinger, of course, has got the highest tier. We'll get the proper term because I'll butcher it, of coaching certificate. Also is the CEO of 01 Hockeyology. You're located right here in West Edmonton Mall. Vanessa, welcome back to the show. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm great.
What's the proper coaching certificate that you have? Is it a master coach? Is that what it's called?
At the NCCP level, it's called the Master Coach Developer.
Okay.
Mainly it means that you're allowed to coach coaches.
So you're the coach who tells the coaches what to do. So that's good. I think that's very good because I've always argued as somebody who coaches in minor hockey, coaching mentors, if there was more of them, then because I get the kids who play AAA and AA, those coaches are very good. But then you go down to tier 1 or 2, tier 3s, tier 4s. Well, now it's just mom or dad volunteering, and they don't necessarily have the same expertise. And a lot of hockey's a late developing sport still. And so if you get better coaching at a younger age, you can see kids, whereas I think sometimes in our hockey system and even in soccer, other ones, they're like, well, we're going to take the kids who we think are the best at 8, and then we really don't worry about the rest, which is so ridiculous to me.
Absolutely. No, I think it's in Edmonton especially, we assume that everybody knows about hockey because we watch hockey, we understand hockey, but relating to players, understanding how to find errors and correct errors and really support athletes and find their learning style. Like those are things that you can learn. And that's what I'm determined to teach.
So this might be a very general question. If there was one thing that you would want to help every minor hockey coach teach their kids, what would it be?
I learned this from Coach Billy Moores. He always said, you get what you insist on.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the hardest thing to do. It's
like
very
that.
hard to insist and to maintain a high standard and to support players into that standard. That's a very hard thing to do. It takes patience and it takes an elevation of yourself. And I think the hardest thing to know as a coach is that you can only coach to your own level of sophistication. So you have to look at yourself. You have to say, where is my communication not there? Where am I not elevating my skills? Why can't I get this player to the level I believe that they should be at? That's where a true coach can shine.
I love that. That is, it's true. You got to look internal. And I know I had to do that for myself. What am I doing wrong? And I actually had someone come out and they're like, yeah, this part of your practice is really good, but here's where you're missing some things. And it was fantastic. And so, because not every kid that's why I always have the utmost respect for teachers, right? Like at least I'm coaching hockey. It's only an hour practice, and then games. So you're doing that all day long. And kids kind of like hockey or they like soccer. They don't love school. Then you got a teacher with 25 or 30 kids and you're trying to get them to pay attention. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how they do it.
Well, and great teachers, they're able to do it.
Yeah.
And they thrive on figuring out different people and how they learn and how to elevate them. And so a tough lesson that every young coach learns when they come and work with us is if you say anything negative about a player or a parent in my presence, you will be fired.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's not the kid. The kid is only 13. They're only rising to the level of your expectation.
I like that. Now, hockeyology, it's still kind of young in its infancy stage here. Tell us, for anybody who doesn't know, there's too many ice services, but I'll let you kind of take us through the thought process of 01 hockeyology and the benefits that you offer.
Well, this has been a project of a lifetime. I call it my blinking word file project because I lovingly say to you, Dave Cooper and Dave Muddle, thank you very much for the opportunity that you handed me a blank word file and a giant, beautiful facility. So they said, okay, what are you going to do with it? So I actually went to a lot of my friends that are in the development industry. Okay. And I said, can nonlinear development work? And so I did a lot of research into it because most of us grew up, especially in my generation, we grew up, you did periodized training. So you learned one thing really well, then you learned the next thing, then you learned the next thing. So you blocked it on top of each other. There was a very specific structured plan. This is a membership style. So I thought, can it actually work? So I started to do a lot of research. I go to all the NHL coaching conferences and I ask questions about trends and I ask questions about what kind of books are you reading right now? And there's a lot of research and a lot of new age material that talks about skill acquisition and decision-making and randomized learning. So the benefits of randomized learning and nonlinear learning is that you actually don't accomplish perfect mastery at one before you go on to the next. And it actually, the research says that it supports creativity It supports long-term development, and it supports a lot of enjoyment in the sport. So players will stay in the sport for longer. So we're focusing on that, even specifically with goaltenders, for example, because there's such a lack of goaltending available right now. And so we're thinking to ourselves, how do we get more kids involved? How do we get them more accessible training to really high-end training without it being a bajillion dollars and without it being something that they have to commit to really early? So even with
that's the key, right? Like I think associations, by putting all the kids, only these 2 goalies get to play net starting in U9, that you don't know who's good in goal yet, really.
Well, and I had a friend in Hockey Canada. She shared with me this. Sherwood has a new set of goaltending equipment that you can just Velcro on, Velcro off over your gear. So we bought it for our U7s. So every player gets to play goalie in this U7 3-on-3 that we have, because it all aligns with, like, people really don't like the fact that you're in small, like there aren't games at the U7 level. But a lot of that is to not like to get more touches on the puck. So in our small
100%.
space, in our skills space, it's a perfect space for U7 3-on-3. So we've been doing that. We've been rotating the goalies. We found 4 or 5 kids that actually really like it. And it's like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's accessible. It's $300 a month. It's not out of control. So,
And $300 a month gets you like 18 sessions. So you do the math in your head, and it's like $15 on night. You can't get that in very many places at all. And so there are different things like, but can you walk me through the skating evaluation that you do?
Yeah. So it's called a stride analysis, and it's on a skating treadmill. So like you mentioned, I've been in this business for so long. And so I have been actually doing stride analysis for a long time. It would take me an hour and a half per player. You break down their stride, you draw these little things on a video, blah, blah, blah. Well, now we take a 45-second video while the player is on the skating treadmill, throws it up to the cloud. Within 10 minutes, we have a full 16-page report on their skating that they can watch the video and actually see their error detection and correction in real time. It's so amazing. So we do that with every new athlete. So every new member does a stride analysis and what we call an athlete movement screen. An athlete movement screen is like a functional movement screen designed for athletes. And so it gives us a baseline of understanding where they're going. But I'll be honest with you, we're just scratching the surface with what we're going to do in terms of analysis and feedback and baseline testing. Like, this is where we're starting. This is the first year. We only opened October 5th. By 3 years from now, it's going to be like unrecognizable how much data we'll have in that place.
And so the stride analysis, do the young, if you're U11, U13, they watch their video and you can show them, okay, here's, we want to lengthen your stride. Like I always hear that we want to lengthen the stride. So is that accurate? Is lengthen your stride what you want? Is it realistic? Or is that somewhat of a thing that gets repeated lots that isn't necessarily accurate?
Thank you for asking that question. It's not accurate.
Okay.
And by getting players to focus on it, the harder they push, the shorter their stride becomes.
Yes.
So skating is bounding. Skating is jumping. Skating is learning how to go from flexion to extension. And when you can hold your weight on one leg at 90-degree knee bend and you can actually jump off of that leg, then you can be a great skater. We can't do that if a player can't actually squat or jump off of one leg, which is why the whole holistic model works. So they can go and work out in the gym for 45 minutes. They can come on the treadmill for 45 minutes. The next day they could go to the skills ice for 45 minutes. So we have this whole holistic thing, because it's unrealistic to think that just by skating, you're going to get better.
Yes.
Now, a stride length is the desired outcome. That's what we want, but you don't get that by pushing further.
Yes.
You get that by bounding forward, which has to do with your power leg, which has to do with your posture. And all these things are very actually easy to teach on the treadmill, which is fantastic.
And so they do it on the treadmill. What do you find, like plyometrics is jumping something that helps?
Yes, absolutely. Jumping, when you learn proper jump technique and proper sprint technique, that translates directly to skating. So as long as we can translate it and teach a player, so like fast forward a few years, a lot of people will say, can you actually change a player skating at 18?
Right.
And my question back is, who do they train with? And if they train with somebody that I know that they're a great trainer and they've learned sprint technique and they have this strength and athleticism, then my answer is yes. Yes, because all I have to do is teach them that bounding and skating are the same thing. So I had a few weeks ago, Richard Duncan brought his sons in, and he's a U.S. Olympian.
Right.
He was a pole vaulter.
Yeah.
And do they measure in feet or meters, pole vaulting?
I think it is in meters.
So he jumped 27 meters.
Oh no, it's feet then.
Feet then.
Yeah.
Just kidding. He jumped
Yeah.
27 feet, and he lost. It was one of the
Maybe
two.
meters, yeah.
It's like extremely far.
Yeah, yeah.
Basically, he told me from the basketball at the starting line on a goal court, like a
Yeah.
basketball court, goes to the 3-point line.
Yeah.
So would that meters?
Oh,
or
so he
feet?
was doing long jump?
Yeah. No, pole vault.
Oh, pole vault.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think pole vault might be meters because I think the record guy was like 6th last year.
It's like insane.
Yeah.
How high he jumped. Anyway, he lost by a centimeter, which was super painful for him. But he's got these 2 boys that play in Texas. They play hockey in Texas. And so neither of them were moving well. And so when he was watching our sessions, he said, well, that looks like that drill I do. And oh, that looks like triple jump. I said, yes, Richard, this is all the same stuff.
Okay.
So now he can go home and he can work with them on those particular skills. They'll come back in August and then we can progress them even further.
Vanessa Hettinger joins us. It's interesting you mentioned that because it's funny in basketball and football, lots of 2-sport athlete, they ran track and then they did this. And you don't hear a ton of hockey players who run track, but realistically, they probably should have more of them in track.
Definitely. And football and baseball.
Yes.
And the multi-sport athletes, they really learn athleticism. And that makes things for us so much easier. When a player understands their body and they have self-awareness around their body, everything becomes easier.
What did you find is when we're talking the proper, how to jump properly? What, I don't know if you can describe it or not, but what, for anybody out there listening, how could they tell if their son or daughter is jumping properly?
I think there's a lot of people on YouTube that they could follow and see it. I think it's really important that you see it. So if you see a freeze frame of Usain Bolt sprinting, and then you see a freeze frame of McCarthy skating, side by side, they actually look very similar. And so that's where you want to see it's actually the same technique. It's just on a different angle. That's it. When it comes to jumping, I mean, there's different measurements of jumping and I wouldn't even go into the details. What I would say is that great skaters skate with their hips. They don't skate with their feet. So when you jump, you don't jump with your feet. You don't think of hey, how far am I moving my feet? When you're doing a broad jump, you're trying to pull your hips through.
Right.
That's the connection.
A skater skates with their hips, not their feet. So obviously you must then at 01 Hockeyology, are you working on exercises that strengthen the hips mobility or just create more mobility?
Definitely. Yeah. So our strength program has been designed by Premier Strength, which is Barry Butt. And he's a very well-known hockey trainer, has been for a long, long time. And so there's 3 or 4 trainers around Edmonton that we all should kind of share clients. And when they're trained really well, everything on the ice becomes easier. So him designing that foundation for mainly the 19-15-year-olds, we're trying to create athletes, not just hockey players.
100%.
Yeah. So teaching them how to move, teaching them how to jump, teaching them how to even multitask, things like that. That's how they put that program together.
So do you find because of the big off-ice facility you have, are you getting non-hockey teams, basketball, football, soccer there as well?
Well, we do have a lot of them coming in for what's called our P360, which is more on the athletic care side. So 01 has 3 pillars really. So there's athletic care, hockeyology, and performance labs. So athletic care is a public health facility focused on MSK injuries. So that would be if you broke your arm or sprained your ankle, you could go into the emergency room, or you could come to athletic care. So that's one thing. But
so wait.
Yeah.
If somebody out there, their son or daughter is on their skateboard this summer and they break their arm, and they don't want to wait all the hours at the emergency.
That's right. You go on the website, you book in online, and you go to athletic care. There's an X-ray, there's physio, there's emergency room doctors. It's not a walk-in clinic. You can't just walk in. You have to go online and book in.
Okay.
But it's way better. You actually get in at the time that you've booked in for, as opposed to sitting with people who really need to be in emergency.
Yes.
Most people that sprain an ankle, they can wait till tomorrow morning at 10.
You're not. It's not changing at that.
But that's the reactive side of our healthcare facility. The proactive side is as an athlete, you can go in for something called a P360, and that gives you a 360 analysis of your health, which is athlete movement screen. So it'll tell you where your movement lies and what your strengths and weaknesses are. It'll also do a concussion test, nutrition screening, and a mental health screening.
The concussion test. Now, when you get into body contact in hockey, I think a lot of association now, that's mandatory, is it not? Because you take it, and then if you do have a concussion, you've got to pass certain parameters to get back into play, correct?
Well, so I've learned so much about this with joining this group. me understanding that I get to work every day with some of the best doctors in the city, some of the best physiotherapists in the city, some of the best dietitians, like so many of the top end people are my coworkers now. And so I'm learning more and more about concussion testing. There's actually a lot of difference in opinion on the relevance of concussion testing. So some associations have taken a strict line where they don't do it because under about 12 years old, it's not proven to be completely accurate.
Okay.
But after 12 years old, what it gives you is it gives you a really strong baseline. So should anything happen, then we actually have a copy of your initial baseline test.
Yeah, which makes sense
Yeah.
because, well, I'm just talking for hockey. U15 is square contact. I know there's some HSL and other leagues that have U13 body contact, but so you get a. Do they have any reason? Is it just because the brain's more developed later on, so you get a better
I believe
baseline?
so. I'm not going to pretend that I know all about this because
Okay.
I don't. What I'm learning is that there's a lot of different opinions and there's a lot of different research, and kids are they're in such different growth phases all the time that you have to really look at the individual as opposed to just put them in a bucket that says you're 13, so you can do this. So where they are in their growth and development is very important. However, having a baseline is way better than nothing. And so taking that baseline with you. So having that in your little account, and maybe you have an injury in Medicine Hat, and you can take that with you and say, this was my baseline concussion test. It was done at Athletic Care. All of a sudden, now they have something to go with,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. Vanessa Hettinger joins us. She's the CEO of 01 Hockeyology, located phase 1 of West Edmonton Mall. They have the 2 mini on-ice rinks and then massive off-ice facility training. Now, you mentioned, the growth of kids, which I think is spectacular because, and we're focusing a lot on hockey because, that's obviously what you focus on. And it's still all the science. It's a late developing sport for a variety of reasons, growth, size does matter in some instances. I think especially for defensemen, maybe not all, but in a lot of cases. And so because of that, some kids, everybody, you get to U13, there's some kids that are 5'10", there's some kids that are 4'10". Like there's very difference in that. And so, geez, well, my son or daughter wants to get quicker. And sometimes I'm just like, well, they don't have the muscle mass to move their body around because they're just a really tall kid. And they I remember Leon Draisaitl, when he was 19, said, even then, I needed to get stronger to really move my body around, but you can't lift a lot of weights at a young age. So what do you do with those athletes that their body is big, but their muscle density is not there yet? How do you help them in skating?
Well, that's a great question. And you can teach technique, but then you have to put things around them to support their strength and development. I thought you were getting at something that I was like really hoping you were get to. So if we could segue over
we'll
to
get
there
to that after,
just
sure.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, what I wanted to go to was I just wanted to talk about, like, if I could say to every parent, small group training is the way to go. Like, everybody wants private lessons. But the thing about skating development is you do the same thing again and again and again and again and again. And then one day there's like a light bulb that goes off. And that happens with every athlete, and especially the late developers. Especially the late developers, there are a lot of kids that they look out of shape, but they're young. They're not. They just have a different body type. So they're struggle. And then all of a sudden at about 16, they turn into these muscle-bound elite athletes. And that's just been coming for a long time. But you don't need a private lesson to do that. You just need to have the patience and the understanding that if it's good training, you should always analyze the training. Are the kids getting better? Are they getting good correction? But in a small group environment, that should be more than enough to get them good feedback to then develop into the future.
And also, I guess when you're in the group train, there's a little bit of healthy competitiveness, but also some healthy fun, right? If it's just one-on-one, it's hard, as kids to have a little fun factor. And somebody who's been a coach for a long time, I'm sure you have to make sure that there's an element of fun when you mix in.
Absolutely. If it isn't fun, don't do it. And I mean, I look at it, people say, oh, I hate power skating. I'm like, really? Like, I enjoy every minute of it. Because it's that connection. It's like seeing someone actually get that light bulb moment and seeing that they're willing to grind it out for 50 minutes. And in minute 55, they finally got it.
Yeah.
Like, that's so much fun. And having a little lightness and a little enjoyment, like, I just think it's got to be there.
And it's interesting when you mention power skating because it's not all about power, right? Really, in a case, sometimes you talked about earlier, if you go stronger, well, that doesn't necessarily make you better, right? So it is called power skating, but how it's evolved even from when you started, because I know you were telling me earlier, you were like 14 or 15 and you got in with Stephanie Hanlon in her mentorship program. You've always been in hockey. You were a hockey player. You weren't a figure skater. Some people think you're a figure skater became hockey. You've always been hockey. When you look back at what you were taught at 14, 15, compared to now and how much different it is.
It's funny that you say that because I was reflecting on it this morning because Jared Spurgeon was on with me this morning and him and I trained with Stephanie like as players. And so I just kind of had a chance to reflect back that he is a beast. And obviously what we did worked. Like, like there are some things that don't change. There are some things that are just the boring fundamentals, like the C-cuts, like it's just going to work. But when it comes to the game itself is so fast now, and players are required to make decisions and move at the same time. And that's different. It used to be like you had to be a good skater. Okay, then you had to be a great skater. Now you have to be a great skater who can handle the puck and make decisions all at the same time. And that's where the progress has been made. I teach much different skills now at the 15 to 20-year-old age group. Right. Absolutely. That's way different what the game needs. But at that 9 to 15, it's honestly not rocket science. And that's why I'm committed to training coaches, is because coaches are afraid of it. They think they have to be an excellent skater to teach skating. You actually just have to be patient and you have to insist on a specific outcome.
What is there one, like, obviously you have to start, but is there one baseline specific outcome that should be like, that's your insister that you have to be focused on?
So that's why we start with the treadmill, is because the stride is the foundation of everything. So everybody comes to me and they say, Vanessa, I want you to work on my kids' first 3 steps, or every agent or every coach, they always say the same thing.
Okay.
And I'm like, super. Well, I actually asked them a couple questions. My first question is, who do they work out with? My second question is, how do they think the game? Because at 17, like, it's often more about filters that are within their decision making. Like, right. I mean, people, obviously you guys talk about McDavid all the time. And when I watch him, that one thing that stands out to me always is that there's no delay between his thought and his movement. And that's very, very rare. That's very rare. So what I try and do is take away the filters that are between the thought and the movement, which could be self-judgment, or could be lack of understanding, or could be not trusting yourself. It could be overthinking. So a lot of those things have to do with acceleration. But to your question, for young athletes, it's teaching stride very well, because when you teach a player how to have great posture and how to actually use their quads and their glutes and all their muscles together, then everything else is easy. Once you have that foundational posture in stride, and you know how to hold your weight on one leg, you know how to extend fully, and you know how to skate with your hips, those 3 things, then you can do anything. Everything else is so much easier.
Vanessa Hettinger joins us. She's the CEO from 01 Hockeyology. We'll return. We'll get to the topic that you want to talk about. But you mentioned something that intrigued me about hockey sense and hockey awareness. And how can you teach it? Because I know I looked on your website. You guys actually have a class that's hockey awareness. I want to get into that when we return on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada, with sports and entertainment properties including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
Rivalries run deep in Alberta football.
Edmonton all the way. Calgary rules.
But when it comes to the best snack for 3-down fun, there's no Battle of Alberta. It's a clear winner.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky.
The one thing every Alberta fan agrees on. So whether you're watching the game from your recliner or in the stands, make it a part of your game day.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky. Because you don't win games with salad. Only available in Leduc.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk. Some jobs are easy, and some jobs are not. When the going gets tough and the job is tough, GS Construction hires good people to get the job done right. So, if you know it takes teamwork, grit, and the utmost care to work underground, you just might be who we're looking for. Right now, GS Construction is hiring experienced foremen to join our crew. Apply today at gsconstruction.ca. And remember, from the first manhole to the final tie-in, we've got your back. GS Construction. Tough jobs, good people.
Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle,
Trouble low down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open. Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
At On the Rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tune.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave ya with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best Latin DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Jasper Ave and 118th.
B2 Gold needs mill operators for their new Nunavut mine. Earn $110,000 to $130,000 with a fly-in, fly-out rotation and paid benefits. Get in on the ground floor of a brand new operation. Visit the B2 Gold Job Fair, July 17th and 18th at the Terrace Office Tower in Edmonton.
For decades, the pioneer spirit of Alberta has been exemplified in the chuck wagon racing legacy of the Dorchester family. And today, you can experience it every time you hit the links. Dorchester Ranch Golf Course is in top mid-season form. Enjoy the longer days on this historic 18-hole course near Pigeon Lake. Stunning views, reasonably priced, and only 40 minutes from Edmonton on newly paved roads. Play the course built with pioneer spirit and family pride. Dorchester Ranch Golf Course. Book your tee time today at dorchestergolf.ca.
B2 Gold needs mill operators for their
Because
new Nunavut
when you
mine.
teach it,
Earn
then you
$110,000
can
to
do anything. Everything else is so
$130,000 with a
easier.
fly-in, fly-out
Vanessa Het-
rotation and paid benefits. Get in on the ground floor of a brand new operation. Visit the B2 Gold Job Fair, July 17th and 18th at the Terrace Office Tower in Edmonton.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? Buy Canadian. Cantork's products are not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
348. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Our guest, thankfully, gave us a little bit more time in studio today. Vanessa Hettinger. Of course, she is the CEO at 01 Hockeyology, located in phase 1 of West Edmonton Mall. Not even a year old, but fantastic. We mentioned it. Your membership for a month is $300. You can get up to 18 sessions. That's skills, that's off ice, shooting, all those sorts of things. It's a fantastic deal. Now, one of the things I learned, Vanessa, on the website and on the app was you have like a hockey awareness. So how can you teach and what do you work on in hockey awareness?
Mm-hmm. So the program is called Hockey IQ. And last year we ran it as a hockey camp and it was really, really well received. This year it's included in the membership. So basically everything on the Ice Palace this summer is included in the membership. So if you think of those 18 sessions, you can use those 18 sessions for maybe 3 hockey camps. So you come like 5 days in a row, you're spending $300 for 3 hockey camps, basically, right?
Yeah.
And so each week is divided into a theme. So everything on the Ice Palace is divided into a theme. And the second week of August is the Hockey IQ theme. So last year, I spent tons and tons of time thinking, what is not being offered in the city and what could we do very, very well? And so I started to look into concepts and themes. And so each day has a different concept. So the first one is awareness. So how do we teach awareness to players? So basically everything that's done on the ice is taught to teach them awareness, whether it's body awareness, whether it's awareness of other people, whether it's awareness of themselves, or where the puck is. Like every drill is divided into awareness. The next day is decision making. So how do they make decisions? And how do you make decisions, then trust your decision and then learn if it's the wrong decision? The next day is creativity. So how do we support players in their creativity? And then the last day we bring it all together. So really hockey IQ is something that comes from playing the game. It comes from watching the game, but there are elements that we can teach, and we can teach it with purpose. And I think anything that's taught with purpose, players start to understand like, oh, there is a thing called awareness, or, oh, like creativity is a thing. And I think what happens over the course of the year is every coach sort of has their outcome that they want for the season. And some coaches are very supportive of creativity. Some are very into structure, and that's okay. Like all of those coaching styles are good. Our job is in the summer or the off season is to give them different tools so that whatever coach they go to, they're able to support what the coach wants.
Right. And hockey awareness and hockey IQ is, it's a broad term that I think probably needs to be more specific, because a defenseman's IQ is going to be different than a center's or different than a winger's. But at young ages, we probably should have, especially at the forward group, sometimes, hey, you're going to play right wing today. You're going to play center. Just so I want to see, can you adapt to a different position? Mm-hmm. And when we've talked about a simple thing like wingers, I'd like you to be high in our zone, but the guy's like, no, I played center for 2 games and now I'm down low, right? Mm-hmm. Like, have you found tips to get kids to understand the responsibility of their position?
Two things that came up for me a lot when I was at the NHL Coaches Conference is talked a lot about support and predictability. So it was interesting because you're going to probably not like me saying this, but every single coach that I talked to talked about Florida. And they talked about how predictable that team was and their high level of compete and how they would go into pressure and not away from pressure. And so that was a big topic over the course of this conference. Mm-hmm. Was how do you teach players to go nose to nose? How do you teach players to go into pressure instead of away from it and not to be afraid of it? So there's a lot of coaches are now teaching defensemen, for example, to actually challenge in the neutral zone, which was like an absolute no, you do not do that, right? And so I think it's just being open and a great listener that says like, where's the game going right now? And how do I support the players to get there? So when we talk about structure, structure is like, it allows for creativity when you know where your support's going to be. And so I think teaching players about support and what that means, and then teaching them about compete and what that means. And so all of us want, compete harder or have urgency, but a lot of players don't know what that means and they don't know how to do that. And so if we can teach them that, if we can teach them how to compete and we can teach them how to support their teammates, that is huge hockey IQ. That's going to take them a long way.
Vanessa Hettinger joins us, and it's fantastic. You talk about, pressuring in the neutral zone because, Chris Pronger had him on our Rundown podcast, and he spoke about how the Panthers almost were challenging up at the red line. He goes, and you just didn't see that. And he goes, for certain system, that really worked well for Aaron Ekblad, but in other ones where he was exposed to more open spaces, his skating might become an issue. So you work on different things and pressuring that. And like, how about just like the transfer? Because the game is so much, everybody says you got to be a great skater. And that's true to a point. I don't know if Florida really had any burner forwards, to be honest, like that were like Connor McDavid's or anybody, but even like Tkachuk is in the below 50 percentile. Marchand is below 50 percentile in top end speed. So where do you come out on speed versus quickness and like darters in and out? And can you know at a young age, and should parents be more aware of, my son or daughter might not be a speedster, but they can be really quick and be a darter? And then how do you accentuate both?
Mm-hmm. Well, we're all sort of born with a certain body type and a certain affinity to be one or the other. Like you can always train more power, you can train more quickness, but all of us are sort of, we develop in a certain direction, one or the other. But that said, I wouldn't pigeonhole anybody too early. I would also watch their style of play. And I think a lot of those players that you just talked about, they're very aggressive. They show urgency to the puck. They have great knee drive. And that's kind of like the skating that I actually teach. I don't teach a lot of long, fluid strides for a lot of players. A lot of players are more aggressive. They want to show urgency. They want to show that quickness and change of direction. It's more about where you use speed. It's not really about straightaway speed. the amount of time you spend in linear stride is very short.
Yes.
So your ability to create separation in that time is very important. So you need to know how to actually finish a fluid stride, but then you're only in it for probably 3 strides max. Then you've got to get out of it and into a different position. So it's about mobility, it's about transfer of weight. And I think that aggressive skating style is much more common in today's game as opposed to a long fluid stride.
How do you get out of that stride?
Out of a long fluid stride?
Yeah.
Well, it's a different, it's your balance point. So basically, when you're into a long fluid stride, your weight's fully on your power leg, which is the leg that's in front.
Okay.
If you go into more of a quickness style, like what we did this morning with Bassani Camp, that's more your weight's even on both skates. So you can move your weight forward, you can move your weight back, you can move your weight right and left, and that changes what kind of style you're doing.
You guys did something called the Euro Deak.
Yeah.
And my son's 11, and because I had asked him, he's like, "Yeah, Dad, we did the Euro Deak, and I wasn't very good at it." And because I said, "Well, son, do you want to get good at it?" Because the best, I always like to read different things. That if you want to be good at something, you have to accept that you're going to be bad at it first.
Yeah.
And it was very good advice. And people, I'm like, okay, like Connor McDavid was an elite skater the first day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Evan Bouchard didn't have a great slap shot the first day. Anybody has to be bad at something. Can you explain what the Euro Deak is and why it's important?
Well, it's been a lot of fun this week because being in this environment of hockeyology, it allows for collaboration, allows for new ideas. And so Fernando Pisani and I are doing this camp as we're talking about offensive skills. So he's teaching certain offensive skills and I'm teaching the skating to support those skills. And so one of the things is zone entry or cutting across the zone, like different ways of managing speed as a zone entry. And so a European Deak is a wider stance. You actually put your feet outside your shoulders. Okay. And it's a lot of people think it's flat-footed skating. So they think you're pushing with your heels, but it's actually a weight transfer. So you watch some of the best European skaters like the Kucherov or I don't know, like there's like a million guys that do it really well. Actually,
Kucherov is a great example.
Yeah.
Now that you say it, that's it. He comes across and it looks like he's gliding, but he transfers his weight and has speed as he does.
So that's what makes it so brilliant is it's not effortful. It's not like you're hammering your heels into the ice. And that's what people always teach when it comes to like flat-footed skating. This is actually a weight transfer where it's more of a pull. And so that's why it's hard for kids to understand because you're not static. You're actually getting into a relaxed position where you're trying to shift your weight left to right. And when your weight's on your left, you pull right.
When your weight's on your left.
Yeah. So
right.
So it's a head fake and a foot fake. So your weight's on your left and then you're pulling right. So you've heard that before, right? Like there's head fake, shoulder fake, stick fake, foot fake.
Yeah.
So it's a head fake and a foot fake. It could even be a stick fake.
Head fake and a foot fake. Then you're mixing a skate fake. I saw Laddie Schmid watching that. Trust me, he wasn't doing the Euro Deak. Hey, Laddie, there's no chance that the young Laddie Schmid was doing the Euro Deak.
His son will, though.
Yeah, his son will. Yeah,
he's cracking the whip.
Yeah. Vanessa Hettinger joins us from 01 Hockeyology. So we have a few people texting about the membership. So is the membership, is it just like, can you just do it for the summer? Is it year long? How does it work?
It's usually a 3-month minimum, but this year, because we're new and we want people to try it in the off season, we can do it month to month for the next 2 months. Yeah.
For the next 2 months. So you lean in and you just once you have the membership, you sign up and it's all, and now it's split into groups, right? So U9s are usually with U9, sometimes U9, U11, U11, 13.
Yeah.
And you kind of go, now does it matter on skill set? Like if is there like a AAA one and then there's tier 2 one? How does it work?
So everything's actually listed out on an app. So people are usually familiar with Mind Body through their yoga studio or something like that. Okay. And so all of our zones, so you'd think of our zones as like the skills ice, the shooting ice, the gym, true movement platforms, and the skating treadmill.
Okay.
So each of those is divided up into 4 different classes. So there's 4 classes that you can go on. Oh, and actually the Ice Palace too. And so each one of those, you go on your app and you scroll through to find your age group, and then you find the class that you want, and then you book it on your phone. So it's like the whole summer is laid out until the end of August, and you can book it all the way to the end of August. And right now it's in certain age groups, but it's only groups of 8. So there's 2 instructors with a group of 8. So sometimes there's a AA with a tier 3, and that's okay because there's 2 different coaches
Right.
and they're doing separate skills. But we do have an elite program, and so that elite program that was registered back in April, but we'll do that again for next year. So it'll be April to August. That's an elite structured program.
Okay.
Mhm.
And when you look at like the different nuances of skating and how like inside, like when I was growing up, there wasn't even taught.
Mhm.
Like honestly, it literally was not taught.
Mhm.
Right. When did that change happen? And how is that why everybody looks like a better skater now? Because they're just actually using both blades? I mean, like both edges of the blade?
Yeah, I think we're dealing with people that are much better athletes. I think that people are like, now all these hockey players are finely tuned machines, and that wasn't really the case. It was just like kind of go and play hockey for the fun of it. But yeah, the inside outside edge is huge. The front and the back of the blade is huge. Weight transfer is huge. So it's like when you see a great skater, it's easy. It looks easy because they're so fluid, and excellence happens when you're relaxed, when you're in a parasympathetic state. So teaching players how to be in control of their body, but also relaxed is the absolute pinnacle of what we're trying to accomplish.
We got a lot of text line in 833-401-1440. Hey, Jason, Vanessa's the best. Been on the ice many times with her and learned so much listening from Trail, BC. That is Tim. Mike texts in, hey, guys, hockeyology is amazing. My son's in the Western League, so it's not just for young players. They do it for all levels of kids.
That's true. You guys, thank you. Yeah, these are all my buds, probably.
Yeah. How much you paying them for that? Hey, Jason, this sounds fantastic. Is there an age requirement? Like, did they do it for U7 or is that too young? When do you start?
So U7, we have a U7 3-on-3
Okay.
that is booked in, and we have a Learn to Skate that's booked in, but our membership starts at 9.
Okay.
So the year that you sign up, you need to be turning 9 in that year. So we do have
so basically, if your son or daughter turns 9 by December 31st,
Yep.
they can
Well, no, even if they start November 1st and they turn 9 on September 15th of the upcoming year, they can still join.
You mean so when the calendar year of your facility
of their sign up date?
Their
sign up date, because then that puts them in U9.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So whatever. So if they're like for right now, somebody would be like turning 9 in the next calendar year.
I'm glad I finally confused you on something.
Yeah. That was the one. I was like, what?
What?
Okay. Now it took me a while. So I made up words earlier in the show, but that's one we'll figure out. So once again, you can do the 01 app, which is ZER ONE. So there's just one between just one O between 0 and 1. And check where's the best. Is it just 01.ca the best website to go to that
Absolutely.
people can find there?
Yeah.
We have 2 other texts quickly. You mentioned the initial evaluation. Do you do that before you sign up, or can you register and then come and do it?
You can actually sign up and do a stride analysis on your own if you like, without being a member. So that's $189, and you come and do a stride analysis, and we'll sit with you and go through it. Or as you sign in as a member, there's a class called Assess and Align. And you can actually do it as many times as you want. We suggest you do it every 3 months. And so that's included in your membership, and you get the link, but we don't sit and go through it with you. It's all kind of self-explanatory. You can ask questions and stuff like that, but the stride analysis is separate from the membership.
And so the reason you recommend every 3 months is to see if the improvements are in the areas that you want to see improvements.
Yes. So that's where we're working. Like that's where a year from now, we're going to have much better metrics. We're going to have much better tracking of your player. That's where we're just scratching the surface on, like, we're partnered with a group out of U of A, Performance Labs. They are exceptionally genius. Like, they're unbelievable. They've already done an AI analysis on blade alignment with Kenny from Aligned Custom Skate. So Kenny did this test with them. They did AI driven data analysis. They found that a blade alignment makes you 100% more stable. And they're like, nothing is 100%. This is crazy. So they actually showed your balance point, and they showed like where your balance point was off before a blade alignment, where it was after a blade alignment. So that was their first project. So you can get a blade alignment with Kenny actually in our facility as well. And then the next project is going to be our athlete movement screen, then shot analysis. We're just starting.
So a blade alignment. So sometimes like it might be off while we're talking, hundreds of a millimeter, and just a line that different makes a big difference for kids. Just they balance, because if you don't have balance, right, and that's the one, like off ice, you do a lot of one-legged stuff, because if you can't balance, you can't play hockey.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
Vanessa, great stuff. We really appreciate this and continued success. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll have to have you on again.
That was fun. Thank you.
That is Vanessa Hettinger from 01 Hockeyology. Check it out, 01.ca. There's only one O in 01. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. AC unit conks out the middle of the night or on the weekend. Call them. No OT. It's legacyheating.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
2025-26 NHL schedule was released earlier today. The Oilers kicking off their season on October 8th, hosting the Calgary Flames. Stanley Cup rematch in Sunrise Falls on November 22nd, and the season will wrap up in Rogers Place with a meeting with the Canucks April 16th. In the association, Bradley Beal and the Suns agreeing to a contract buyout. He's expected to sign a 2-year deal worth $11 million with the LA Clippers. And in the CFL, Sean Lemon has been reinstated by the league. He was suspended indefinitely back in 2024 for wagering on league games in 2021. Any future violation of the league's match manipulation policy will result in a lifetime ban. NWCL All-Star Game today, Riverhawks in action, 3 of them, that is. Okay, going at 7:35 in Bellingham. The Riverhawks will be back in action at home Friday night, taking on Kamloops. And in the WNBA, earlier today, Storm get past the Valkyries, 67-58. Mercury fall to the Lynx, 79-66. And it was the Dream beaten up on the Sky, 86-49. Later tonight, you got the Fever and Liberty. No Caitlin Clark in that one with a groin injury. Also, Wings taking on the Aces. Coming up in Hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Dave McCarthy of Sirius XM NHL. We hear Cam Tate's 2-minute warning and ask 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season.
Play Alberta.
If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense. You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order
just after 3 o'clock
at oodlenoodle.ca. So sit on your couch all day and order
Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Oodle Noodle.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV. Did you wake up this morning and think, I want to be a used RV salesman? If you're like most people, the answer is no. But if you want to sell your quality
Jason
used
Gregor.
RV yourself, then a used RV salesman is what you are.
Welcome to your new job.
It's Legacy
That's
Heating.
right, Bob. Put it up on all the best websites. Wait for the phone to ring and be ready day or night, weekday or weekend. Drive out to the storage lot for every random tire kicker who calls and hope that what you have is exactly what they want.
There's an easier way to do this, Rick.
That's right, Bob. You could bring it to No Bull RV. We love selling used RVs, and the customers are already here. Commercials like this, bring them in by the hundreds. All you need to do is cash the check when it leaves our lot. Used RV salesman is not what you wanted to be when you woke up this morning. And if it was, well, I think you better come out here and apply for a job.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
Every morning, you look in the mirror and see less of yourself. Hair loss can feel like losing a part of who you are.
But it doesn't have to be that way. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we understand the pain of hair loss. Our advanced hair restoration solutions won't just bring back your hair, they'll help you face the mirror with confidence.
Good morning, you sexy beast. Visit drvancelliot.com today because it's time to be the man you remember.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. With state-of-the-art motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.410. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. I always love learning new things, from people that dedicate their time to different areas. And Vanessa's been involved in skating for a long time, so it's fantastic. I can tell you, the hockeyology. First of all, it's an unreal deal, and you know what, the facility is great, and when we hear all the importance of, like, they have the big ice that you can use, of course, at the Ice Palace, and the small little mini rinks that they have, just when you want to work on seat cutting and shooting, and because hey, you don't need a full ice to shoot the puck. Hey, you want to work on your shot, you can just work on. Think about it when you're in practice. How many full ice drills are you working on your shot? Not really, because how often is a player in a game of hockey skating end to end and shooting the puck? Doesn't happen very often, right? Like you think in the NHL, how many players in the Oilers ever skated the full length of the ice with the puck and shot? McDavid, Draisaitl. Maybe Nugent Hopkins. Maybe Bouchard had that one rush last year. That's probably it, right? There's just not many guys who do it. So smaller area drills, I think, are the key when you think about most of the game. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Got a lot of texts flying in. More on the order schedule if you missed it. Came out today. Also, if you missed it, we had Pete Aubrey. We might rerun that. We've got a lot of texts coming in from people that really enjoyed that interview. So, Cons, I think we'll rerun Coach Aubrey in the 5 o'clock hour today. We have Dave McCarthy coming up later. The NHL Sked came out. And for Oiler fans, you'll be used to a lot of games on the road to start the season. The Oilers have a very heavy road schedule early on this year. And we'll see. I think, well, it's something I went back, and all you got to do is look at the order schedule. Like it's happened before that, you get into, mid-February, definitely after the trade deadline. There's not many games against the East, maybe the odd one here or there, but the Oilers, all of their road games against Eastern Conference teams will be wrapped up on December 18th. Meaning that all the road games after are, you're only playing in an hour difference, either in the Pacific or in the Central. And that is, I believe that's a big advantage. Just from the wear and tear, it does matter for your team. There's no doubt in my mind that I think that matters. Hey, Greg's, what was your thoughts on Scotty Scheffler? I don't know if you guys caught his answer yesterday. It was pretty deep. We played part of it, Cons. I thought it was something to look forward to. And speaking of golf, I think I just saw our sales guy, Steve Declan. I want you to go grab Steven in the hallway. Steven, he's our sales guy. We're actually golfing at Carris's golf tournament, so we might talk some golf with him. So you're going to go track him down in a second, and then we'll get him to come in studio here. So that'll be pretty good. But I don't see him in studio very often, which is good because he's a sales guy. Shouldn't be here all the time. But we'll see. I saw Scheffler's thing, and I think he made some pretty good points about it. I I think it makes a lot of sense for anybody, not just for a golfer, but just the the fact of that. And for those to give you the Coles notes, he just talked about how, you train and you work your whole life, and then he won the Byron Nelson. It's kind of at home. He's like, oh my God, this is unreal. But it's literally like 2 minutes. And then afterwards it's like, well, are we going for dinner? And then you move on. You got to play the other tournament that, you work your whole life for something. It's a real fleeting moment of celebration. Now, obviously, maybe it's different when you win the Masters. Maybe it works longer, but I can understand that in an individual sport. When you win the Stanley Cup, you have months, and then the players, they train, but then they get the cup. You get to kind of relive that a few times. So there is a little bit more celebration. But I do think at times in sports in general, you have that fleeting excitement, and then boom, it's gone. Or think about it, whatever. Maybe your goal was, I want to lose 20 pounds. And you worked really hard. You got down to 20 pounds, and then you're kind of like, oh, well. And you don't. So that's why I think we have to focus on enjoying the steps along the way. Just as much. So we'll see. But Stephen Cretain, who's our general sales manager here at Sports 1440, I saw you in the walking by. Steve, we'll get you closer. Get you closer there so you can see on the mic. How you doing?
Good. I'm doing well. Thanks for bringing me in.
What happened to your mustache? Last time I saw you, you had a stash.
I know, it was time for a change. I've had that for probably around a year, so I thought that was kind of just change things up. You get bored of stuff.
Yeah. I'd never golfed with you before until Carius's golf tournament. Swing the club's pretty good, man. You're bombing it off the tee.
Thank you. I don't know. You know what they say, drive for show, putt for dough. There's a reason I don't make money playing golf. So I can drive the ball.
Well, what do you golf? Like what's do you have? Like, you must golf a lot if you're hitting the ball that well. What's your handicap?
Well, I'm playing at around 5 or 6 right now. I grew up playing at Sturgeon Valley in St. Albert, so kind of had a membership growing up. So I played a lot of golf growing up, is kind of where I learned how to play. And now I'm playing probably twice a week.
Twice a week. So yeah. 5 or 6. So what's the best round you've ever shot?
73. I shot that twice. I did it at the Corey once, and then at Kananaskis once.
So was that when it was? So you were 1 over par.
Yeah.
So were you rattled that you were 1 over and not par?
At the Corey, I was, because I was 1 under actually going into 18.
And then you bogeyed.
I 3-putted 18. Well, I guess there's 27 holes there, but yeah on the back half of last night, I 3-putted 18. So
3-putted 18.
Yeah.
Now, were you feeling the pressure when you got on the green? You're thinking, man, I'm going to shoot par.
Yeah.
And so did it get in your kitchen?
Oh yeah. I'd be lying if I said that it didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other one, when you shot 73, you didn't have a chance for par?
No,
you would have had a birdie the last hole?
Yeah, I would have had to birdie 18. I think I was 1 over.
Was that at Kit or Lorette?
Lorette.
Yeah. Jeez.
Both of them are so nice. Like beautiful golf courses.
What's the best course you played?
There's a few. It's honestly hard to just pick one. Like Crow's Nest is kind of a hidden gem, I think, in southern Alberta. That place is really, really cool.
Really?
Yeah, it's a little out of the beaten path, I want to say. It's on the way to Fernie, but it's a really, really cool course. I had the chance to play Tobiano in June in Kamloops, and that place is just lights out. I don't know how they managed to carve a golf course into that landscape. It's remarkable.
Is it right in the mountains or what?
Well, it's in like the hills, I want to say. It's not like right in the mountains.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's really, really cool.
Yeah. All right. So like, do you aspire to shoot par because you've been that close, or does it not matter as much?
I'd love to one day. It's just so hard, like, to incrementally improve your game that much without just dedicating so much time to it. Like, I know my short game could use a lot of work and putting and that sort of stuff. And honestly, that stuff takes hours of working on. I don't have time. I gotta try and make sales for the radio station and keep everybody going. So
how's it going?
It's going honestly really good. Like I'm meeting a lot of good people. I really believe in the platform. Like you've been building an audience for a number of years now, like with the news station and back obviously with Team 1260 and TSN 1260. And Edmonton loves its sports. It's kind of unlike any other market really out there, in my opinion. It's almost like a cult-like following with the Oilers with sports and everything like that. So I think for local businesses with a chance to tap into that, I think it's just a remarkable opportunity. And I think the listeners have a long history of supporting all the businesses that support the station. I think it's just it's good community involvement all around. So I think it's good for everybody. It's a win-win.
What's the easiest way for anybody out there if they want to get a hold of you, if they're interested in maybe seeing what's out there to offer for sales on Sports 1440?
Honestly, best way would probably be to email me or text into the show. My email is Steven. It's spelled with a P-H-E-N, so S-T-E-P-H-E-N.
So you're not Stefan?
Not Stefan, no. And my parents didn't give me the easy spelling. They didn't give me the V-E. They went old school traditional.
School. P-H-E-N or A-N?
P-H-E-N, yeah.
P-H. So Steven at sports1440.ca?
Yeah, you bet. Steven at sports1440.ca. Send me those emails.
Yeah, and then do you give them golf tips as well?
I mean, I can. I could help with the driving a little bit, but don't ask me about chipping. Don't ask me about putting. I got the yips.
Really?
Yeah, I can't chip around the greens right now. I don't know what it is.
So it's just in your head. You need to go see a sports psychologist right now.
I think I do. Or go see Vanessa at Hockeyology. I actually, it's funny enough, I used to do some power skating with her when I was quite a bit younger, and have known her for quite some time. And she always had a good mental approach to the game. So I think even maybe with the golf game, she could help me approach it in the right way.
Well, it does make sense when you put it that way, just the understanding of the mental side of it. We got a lot of people texting, Gregor, what are you talking about? Of course he's good at golf. He's a salesman at a sports station. Well, but he's saying he's not golfing that well. Not that, like once or twice a week is still a fair amount, but you're putting in the sales. Would you do a golf round to a potential client? Does that work?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'd love to.
Because then you get to show off. They're like, oh, this guy's a good golfer. That probably helps you.
Yeah, exactly. I would love that. And I get to golf. So no complaints there. I'd love to take out any potential suitors who are looking to potentially advertise. I'd be more than happy to take you out for a golf round.
Where do you golf regularly in town?
I'm a CCT member, so I know they're supporting of the golf show here. So I do a lot of the CCT courses. Sandpiper in St. Albert. I grew up in St. Albert, so that's kind of where I go a lot of the time. I like Ravencrest too. I think that's a great course. There's lots of options.
What's the best you've ever shot at red tail? Because no offense to CCT, I hate red tail. Now I hate it because I suck at it, and I probably need to get over it. But I find for me, it's like for my game, it's the worst course. I cannot score well there.
You know what? It's a hard course. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's like the championship style setup, and it's always windy as heck there. It's the wind is always howling right by the highway there.
Yeah,
so,
you hit the ball high off the tee.
So when it's kind of coming in your face, it really takes off quite a bit of yardage. So it's tough to get any of that distance. Although when it's at your back, you can really bomb it, which is nice. But yeah, the crosswinds, it's a hard course. I think my best there, I don't know if I broke an 80 there. I want to say low 80s.
It's never broken 80.
I don't know if I did. I have it red tail. Yeah, it's a hard course.
It is hard, man. Yeah. So honestly, I've kind of sorry red tail, but I've kind of I'm mentally weak, so I boycotted it because I'm like I don't have fun there. I can't play well here. I can't do it.
I think everyone has some of those courses where it's just for whatever mentally just gets in your head and you can't get by it.
And then there's other courses like Blackhawks where the best I've ever shot was 84.
Yeah,
and it's happened twice, and it's both times at Blackhawk. So anytime someone's like, oh, you want to play? I'm like, I love this place. But I saw a guy in a golf tournament get a hole in one, right? And won a truck. So, I don't play there very often. And I know it's a hard course, but that's a course where I'm like, man, I play there, the ranch. Actually, I really like playing cattail more. So you got to go try cattail just to see if you can get the hole in one on the water.
Yeah, that's on the agenda. I got to go try that out. I've never gotten a hole in one before. So there'd be no better time, I think.
Dude, yeah. Well, 10 G notes to get it at cattail. But I found I played maybe the best round I played because when I was on the range, that's where the hole in one is. So I was really aiming and really focused on it. And it just seemed to carry over, and I had a better start to my golf game. Eventually I fell apart like normal, but early on the front nine, it was like the second best front nine I ever shot. And I firmly believe it was because of the warm up.
Yeah. I mean, a good warm up goes a long way. Like I know even myself and a lot of golfers, they'll just come straight from work or whatever and just where's the first tee and what's the course record and try and like the old John Daly thing and try and go right on cold. And usually it takes 3 or 4 holes to warm up. And by that time, you've kind of done some damage already. So if you can get a good warm up in, it makes a huge difference.
So, hey, if you want to golf or if you're looking maybe do some advertising in Sports 1440, Steven at sports1440.ca, send us a text. We can send your email as well. So keep banging the drum, man. Good work. And it was good running into you in the studio. It's a sandbagger of your golf game. So I know that we might have to bring you out for the next Sports 1440 tournament if we need a big hitter, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to come along. I'm always a sucker for a round of golf, and thanks for bringing me on. Appreciate it.
Awesome. There you go. So a little surprise. Dave McCarthy's going to join us coming up next. We got Mark Spector as well as the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The dog days of summer means baseball. Every weekend, Sports 1440 carries Toronto Blue Jays ball games. Ben Shulman will have the call. Grab a cold one and tune in this weekend to Blue Jays baseball on Sports 1440.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. With state-of-the-art motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 Triple E. Buy quality, buy Canadian. And support Canada West and Diablo, the two best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
Your co-op grow team are your local experts because we live here too. Our agronomic specialists stay up to date with the latest research and technology to help support your entire farm operation. Talk to our team for advice tailored to your farm's needs. We have recommendations to help you optimize your crop yield and quality while enhancing the health of your land. Co-op, we're all growing together. Here for your farm, here for your family. Learn more at coop.crs/farm.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Jump in OTR's party shuttle buses to Elks games, Riverhawks games, and concerts at Commonwealth. To see all upcoming bus events, visit ontherocksyeg.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.427, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. The Gregor Show always presented by playalberta.ca. The OG, Lotto 649 tonight, $22 million. The classic jackpot of $5 million at playalberta.ca. Quiet night in sports for a few days. MLB gets back going on Friday. You do have the All-Star game going tonight for the Riverhawks. They've got 3 players now because one of them, I was going to say, hey, you get drafted, you're not going to the All-Star game anymore because you get drafted, get signed by your team, and now you're going to go to a different level of minor ball. Not necessarily better, just different because now you're owned by one of those major league teams. So I guess that's it's a good news thing, but bad news in a way that you don't get the opportunity to play in the All-Star game. But I think they'll be okay considering you just signed a contract. Also, you have the Edmonton Stingers. They are back in action tomorrow night on the road as they are red hot. They just continue to roll. They've won 7 of their last 8 games, and they are in the midst of they got 3 games left on this road trip. Then they'll be back home on August 1st. The Elks don't play a home game again until August 2nd, so you could do a double whammy back-to-back between the Stingers and the Elks at that point. Now, let's go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. And, man, lots of options. You want the international menu option? They got different ones there from Italy and Japan and Germany. Also, $2 Sundays, $2 snack size shakes. Or easier, download the McDonald's app. And through the app, you can get a $1 cone all summer long at McDonald's. As we welcome in from the NHL Network, of course, host of the brunch every Sunday, also hosts Ice Caps during the week, Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM. Davey, how you doing, my man?
Oh, I'm good, Jason. What's going on? I've apparently agitated people on Twitter today, and I'm such a man of the people. I do my best to respond to everybody, and so I've spent some time just enjoying myself online today. It's been truly a fulfilling experience.
Well, I saw, for anybody wondering, Dave just pointed out that the Mitch Marner return to Toronto, they're in Boston the night before with Vegas, and then they come to Toronto. And usually when you play back-to-back, there's no media availability before the game. And that's just, so, but, win or lose, Marner's going to be, he'll have to talk after the game. There's no doubt in my mind about that. But it's
not the same after the game.
No, because usually you're talking about that. Now, if he wins, then he'll be in great spirits. And the one thing that's best about talking to the player after the game, now you'll get to know, okay, how was it? Because you can tell yourself what you think it's going to be after being in an organization for 9-10 years. But a lot of times it's harder or easier than you thought. And so that's the one area that you can at least, because a lot of times it's speculation of how's it going to feel. Now at least you get to know how it felt because you'll talk to him post.
You're right about that. And that's all I was really trying to do is to point out the machinations of how these things work, because you and I understand it. We're in it. We're in the mix. We do this every day. We get the fact that if a team plays the night before and comes into a new city, there ain't going to be any more. You see it. People don't get that necessarily. So that's all I was trying to do was point that out. Now, what I would say, Jason, is you said he'll have to talk after the game. I wouldn't bet all of my money that he'll talk after the game. I wouldn't. Okay. Unless he factors into the game in some form or another, I wouldn't put all of my money. So we will see. You're right. If you talk after the game, there is some degree of difference in terms of what you say. You're not projecting what you think is going to happen. You are telling us how you felt in the moment. And that would be good. But again, you know how these things go, especially when you're on a road trip. It's after the game, rush into the plane. 2.5 minutes in, we get the PR guy from the back corner. Last one, guys. And you're not getting any kind of substance there. The likes of which you would expect of somebody in Mitch Marner's case who's played here 9 years. And yeah, people are interested in what he has to say. What's happening is that people are suggesting that, I'm only fishing for negative. That's not at all what I'm doing. That's not how I traffic at all. I am genuinely interested in what he has to say about his experience here, how he felt leading up to the game, and in the scenario that you present, how he felt during the game. I'm interested, and I will report what it is that he has to say. I just hope that I have the ability to report on what it is that he has to say, because at this point I'm not guaranteed that we will get that chance. And that's all. And I think there's a lot of people in this city who are also fair-minded fans who understand that it was Mitch's right to choose to do what he decided to do, which is all good. And certainly I'm not. I shouldn't have to clarify that, but I will. I'm not butthurt. Most people in this city are not butthurt, but they're interested in what he has to say. And people suggesting, you're just looking to No, I'm trying to do my job, and it makes it much easier to do my job if I actually get to speak to the person whom so many people are interested in what he has to say. Nobody cares? No. A lot of people care.
Davey, and that's totally valid. The schedule came out today, and it'll start on the 7th of February. October.
Right.
There is a significant break, obviously, for the Olympics. And this will be the last 82-game regular season. It's going to be 84 next year. This will also be the last of 6 to 8 preseason games. It'll be a maximum of 4 after that. But when you look at the schedules of teams, do you dive into different ones? Are you a believer that teams who have early road or late there's potential for an advantage, but only if you use it to your advantage. Like the Edmonton Oilers, like all their Eastern time zone games on the road are done on the 18th of December, which is the earliest it's ever happened that at least that I can remember, and since I've been covering the team. But they also have a boatload of road games early on, a 5-game road trip, a 7-game road trip, and then another 5-gamer all before Christmas. So I guess the good news is maybe you can bond, but the bad news is maybe you can get behind depending on how the season goes. What do you make of schedules, for each team? And do you think there's significant benefits at all for road or home starts?
Yeah, I don't make much of it at all because you can spin however you want, whatever you want, however you want. I think in a lot of cases, in Edmonton's case, as you say, they play a lot of road games. Okay, well, that's good for team bonding, but you're away for so long. What if you just get off on a bad foot, and then when you're on the road, you're constantly kind of grinding away, right? You're not in your own surroundings. You're into a city, you show up, you play. Sometimes that can be good in isolated circumstances, but other times it can become a grind. So no, I don't look too much into that because I think the way coaches look at it is that you have a game in front of you on this particular night, find a way to win that game, and then do it again the next game, and then do it again the night after that. I think if you look for patterns and schedules to say, oh, we're getting screwed here, we're getting screwed there, and if that's the reason why you don't end up where you want to be, you're not really that good of a team to begin with, truly, right? So, no, I don't look too much into it. Look, here in Toronto, the Leafs play a ton of back-to-back games. They don't go on extended road trips like a lot of the teams in the West do, but they play a ton of back-to-back games. That's not ideal. But what are you going to do, right? Do you want the 2.5, 3 week road trips? No, then go out west. Like every team has got some area of their schedule that they're not thrilled with and some areas of their schedule that benefit them. At the end of the day, I think it all comes out in the wash, and I've yet to see the Stanley Cup champion who we've said, wow, the only reason they won the cup is because look at their schedule. They played this amount of games on the road, or they were at home to end the season. Like, come on, right? Like, you are the team that you are, and it all comes out in the wash. So, no, I really don't buy in too much to scheduling. Like, I had so many people within the Maple Leafs last year telling me time and again how bad the schedule was, how brutal it was in, like, February where they played, like, one home game in 6 weeks. And then it was on the road, and then home for one game, and then back out on the road again. And the only reason they came home for the one game, I think it was against the Sharks at the end of February, is because it was an Amazon Prime game, and they needed to get a Leafs game in there on a Monday night. And then they were right back, and they would never do that but for Amazon Prime. And what happened? The Leafs won their division, and they got in the playoffs. And then from that point on, like, you are what you are. So no, I can't buy the schedule griping. Maybe I'm getting too old, Jason, but I can't handle it anymore.
Your understanding is the Monday Prime game is going to continue this year?
I honestly haven't heard on that front. My belief is that they will, but I haven't heard anything concrete on that front at this point. So beyond that, anything else I would say would be simply giving my opinion, but not based in fact.
Okay, my only beef about this schedule is during the 2021 season when it was 56 games and they revised the divisions, and they had a lot of, you'd come to Edmonton and Winnipeg would play twice, and then they'd go there and they'd play twice, and they were cutting down travel, and they were going, 2 games in a city. I know you can't do that for every game, but my goodness, each team should have multiple trips a year that have that. It would be beneficial for teams, especially, the West that fly all over the place, but also for November, December, January games in a long season that can be somewhat boring at times. If all of a sudden now you have Edmonton playing Anaheim back to back, and the first game had a little roughness, but now the next game you've got it, and it can be even better, right? That's what I would like to see, is a few more where they play like the 2-game mini series in one city.
Yeah, I was a strong advocate of that scheduling technique at the time, and I'm disappointed they seem to have gone away from it. I think a lot of people liked the points that you just made, because you're right, on a Tuesday night in January when, Carolina rolls through. I guess Carolina's a bad example because they're in the East, they only come once, but the team in the West that's kind of random. Anaheim, as you say, okay, whatever, but it's a good way to build up a little bit of intrigue into the next game if something goes down. Same thing here in Toronto. If Detroit comes through, they haven't been very good lately, so nobody really cares when Detroit comes through, but they come twice, and if game one was, shall we say, acrimonious, well, then now you can build up a Wednesday night in January to be a little bit more intriguing. So, yeah, I'm disappointed. I thought that was a really good scheduling technique. And I also thought it provided an opportunity to maybe shave a few days off the schedule, right? Because you can play back-to-backs in that case. And you're not shaving weeks off the season, but you do that a few times, you're shaving 5-6 days, which when you get to June, instead of the cup being awarded on June 15th, you're awarding it on June 9th. Yeah, that makes a difference in that case. So, yeah, I agree with you. I'm surprised they went away from that, because I liked that. I thought it was good on a number of different fronts. But what I think people have to remember is that a lot of the decisions that the league makes come from having polled ownership and polling management, and getting collective opinion, and then reflecting that in the decisions that are made. And so I guess clearly a lot of the teams were not all that into it as much as you and I were, but it comes down to the same reason that we're going to be going back to a decentralized draft again next year. This was not the league unilaterally acting. This was, in fact, the league putting into practice the desires of its teams against these suggestions of the commissioner. So if you don't like the fact that the schedule is the way it is, and I'm not just saying this because NHL.com is on my title. Really, I'm truly not. I'm just telling you how it works. That's a lot of the teams suggesting they didn't like it as much as average fan and guys in the media seem to like it.
Dave McCarthy joins us. Davey, a few things. October 11th, we'll see all 32 teams in action. Also, there's the Frozen Frenzy that goes on October 28th, which has 16 games again. There's the staggered starts. I kind of like that. So there's 2 days this year, both in October, where everybody's playing together. Pretty significant time. What do you make of that? And is there a way to make that even bigger for the NHL?
I mean, I think it's good that they're doing it. What I will tell you is when I've talked to players about it, generally the response I get is, "Oh, really? No way. I didn't know that. Huh? How about that? Yeah, maybe I'll check." The players have no idea that this is happening. I guess it's cool. My question is how from 7 onwards, yeah, I guess it's cool. You come home, what is it, a Tuesday night? You throw it on. Yeah. I guess you can channel surf around. That's cool. I don't generally do that. I mean, I guess there's some people who do. What I can tell you is it doesn't float my boat at all.
Yeah, to me, they do it on a Tuesday. I'm surprised. The other game on the 11th, they have all these games, but there's actually only 2 of them that really aren't in the main window, right? You've got some that are, you got a boatload starting at 7, then you got 2 starting at 8 Eastern, 1 at 9, 3 at 10, but only 2 in the afternoon. And I'm kind of like, to me, on a Saturday stagger, and it might be a little bit better, but who knows? They maybe know on a Tuesday you might be able to get more people. I'll say it for me, like I love kind of like, channel surfing, ice surfing, to be able to just watch multiple games at one time. I couldn't do it every day of the year, of course, but to have it at that time, I kind of like it where it's, it's a new game pretty much every 15 minutes, right?
I think it would be ideal if they were to do it on a Saturday. I just don't think there's as much appetite from the league standpoint to do that, because there are other viewing options on Saturday that they don't want to compete with, especially in the fall. There's college football, then on a Sunday, there's the National Football League. And I think the league is being smart in this case. Like, we can say what we want, but let's call a spade here. National Hockey League's not beating college football in the fall in the U.S., nor are they beating the National Football League on a Sunday in the U.S. So why fight that battle when you know you are going to lose? So you do it on a Tuesday. Yeah, it's cool. Like, you do it once, twice a year. I think, why not? There's nothing wrong with doing it. Can it be any bigger? I don't know. Like, it's so early in the season. You've yet to really build in too many standing linked storylines that have too much meaning. I think at that point you really have to lean into rivalries. But again, do you want to bury the Mitch Marner returns to Toronto in the midst of 15 other games? No, I think you want that as a standalone, and in this case, it was a miss because it's buried on a random Friday night in January. The Leafs never play at home. So, like, it's just, the schedule is something that no matter what you do, not everybody is going to be happy. And you'll get the crowd that, the start times aren't staggered, so you'll piss them off if you lean into rivalries. But if you lean into rivalries, you're burying that game on a night where it should be. So you can't make everybody happy. I think it's neat that they're trying the 16 games. They've done it a few years now. It's not bad. Like, I'd love if that really was bulked up from like 9 p.m. onwards, where I really settle into my Chesterfield and live with my remote. Like, I'm not on at my TV on non-Leaf nights really until 9 p.m. generally, if I'm not working, just because I got other stuff going on. So whatever, but yeah, I think it's cool, and it generates a little bit of buzz, and but like I said, I'll tell you from the players' standpoint, most of the players, I am breaking the news to them the day before when I ask them about it.
Yeah, well, to me, that's, the players maybe should know more about their league. That would probably be a whole other conversation. Hey, we want to market our league. Maybe we should let the players know at bare minimum.
They're told. They just
forget.
Care. Like, I can ask William Nylander on a Monday, we were playing on Friday, and his response might well be, "Oh, we're playing on Friday." So that's but that speaks to the mindset of the players, right? I don't care about 2 games from now. I care about tonight, and then I'll worry about 2 games from now. Dave,
last one. I know that rosters aren't fully set. We could have some other moves, but as of July 16th, which team do you feel is poised to have the biggest improvement this season? And you can't pick San Jose or Chicago because they had so many points.
Like, are you talking about biggest improvement to potentially put themselves in a position to contend?
Just biggest improvement. You know what? Maybe you're a team that goes from 80 points to 95 and you're in the playoffs, or you're a team that's makes the playoffs but gets to the third round. Just a team that you feel is going to have a bigger improvement on last year, or the biggest.
That's a good question, because at this point it is so early on. Like, I think Montreal, I think what they've done by bringing in Noah Dobson, really solidifying their D, I think will help them sustain and then build upon what they did last year, which, might have been a little bit pie in the sky-ish at this time last year. And then certainly having gone through the year, you look and say, well, is that sustainable? I think they've done some nice work to make sure that they will continue to be a team that you have to look at more seriously now in the Atlantic Division. So I look at them as a team that has certainly sustained and improved upon where they should be. Maybe the Columbus Blue Jackets could be a team that could build upon what they did last year. In the West, I'll be honest, I'm looking at the standings just to jog my memory here because there's so much happening. I don't really like maybe Utah, but there's still a lot where they're, I think, relying on some ultra young players to continually build upon what they were able to do. The Logan Coolies, the Dylan Gunthers, those type of guys. They brought in some veterans to surround them. That might help to an extent. And then I look in the Pacific Division, like maybe Anaheim, but like I'm not super convinced with Anaheim yet. I'm really, really not. So I can't include them in that. Like I think I'd say Montreal as my team because I think the young guys that drove that ship, the Nick Suzuki's, the Cole Caulfields, the Caden Goolies, I think they will continue to get better. And I could see a continual ascension in the standings for them with the help that they've brought in. The Lane Hudsons, as long as their goaltending stays okay, I don't think they will regress too much. I think they will be a team that should go into the year, and rightly so, expecting to make the playoffs because I do think they've done a lot of really good work in Montreal.
Davey, enjoy your day debating with people about Mitch Marner online, and we will chat with you again soon. Have yourself an awesome day.
See you, buddy.
That's Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM. Quick break. We'll come back with 5 questions. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Elks Nation, 2 weekly podcasts with Eddie Steele and Declan Kruger breaking down the green and gold, the most in-depth Double E football coverage on YouTube and anywhere you get your podcasts.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.454. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. As we get to 5 questions, brought to you by The Brick. It's the final day for the Canada's biggest appliance sale. If you've been thinking about it, well, don't wait. Get down there to The Brick in person. You got 60% off clearance appliances below cost, scratch, and dent in store only. So get there tonight if you're looking for a great deal on appliances at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, question number 1. Is there a game on the Oilers schedule this upcoming season you're looking forward to the most?
Ooh, good question. Well, I think if there's no injuries, I think Nugent Hopkins would play game 1000 on New Year's Eve. So I'll go with that.
I like it. That'll be a milestone. I guess when Draisaitl gets to point 1,000 would be very cool too. I'm going to say give me the game on April 16th when it's the final regular season. We get to the playoffs where it matters. Question number 2.
Holy cow. Wow.
Yeah, jump in the shark here.
Can't you guarantee, hey, can't make the playoffs if you don't you can't win the cup if you don't make the playoffs.
Yeah, hey, that's very much true. Question number 2 for you. Since we had the new Oilers goaltending coach on this show, which current NHL goalie do you think could make the jump to coaching once his career wraps up?
Interesting question. Well, a lot of them is, are you going to stick with it? Because doing it and coaching it are very different. And, there's lots of good players that aren't going to be good coaches. We heard from Vanessa, we've heard from other coaches, like patience is such a key thing. So, I honestly think sometimes some of the best coaches are guys who grinded it out because they just so I'm going to go, I think Calvin Pickard, who played in how many different organizations has he played? And I think if you're paying attention, you can learn from a lot of things. So he would be one. He's got a very good sense of humor. And another one, I think Marc-Andre Fleury would be a very good coach.
Yeah, he seems like a guy who just loves to be around the rink, so it might be something he's interested in. And I actually did have Pickard as my guy as well. I mean, grinding it out, seems to just kind of get it. Loved what he did in the cup final, with Stuart Skinner. Was already at a moment's notice, but someone's trying to get in his cage. He's going to get in there and kind of lighten the mood. Love that from him. So I think he's got a good mentality to be a coach if he so chooses one day. Question number 3 for you. Who's your pick to finish atop the leaderboard at the Open in Northern Ireland this weekend?
Go ahead.
Well, I know that Shane Lowry won it last time at this course back in 2019, but I'm not going to go in that direction. I'm going to say Tommy Fleetwood.
Ooh, so hey, man, hard to go against him. I'm going to go. Oh, wow. It's boring because it's Scheffler. So I think we have to exclude him right now because he's almost on a level of where Woods was in his heyday, where you're just like, you pick him. I'm going to go with Tyler Hatton.
All right. Scheffler, if you're betting top 5, you can double your money. So maybe that's kind of a safer bet if you wanted to go for that one. Question number 4 for you. Since we discussed the Bengals today, in your quarterback power rankings, where would you have Joe Burrow?
Amongst active quarterbacks today?
Yes. Right now.
Ooh. I might have Joe 2.
Behind who?
Patrick Mahomes.
I'm actually going to go Joe Burrow 1. 43 touchdowns last year. Had to almost single-handedly keep his teams in games. You factor him. He's going to put up numbers with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins there as well. I feel for him because that division is so tough. Going up against Lamar Jackson twice a year is going to be tough. But I actually am very high on Joe Burrow. I might even have him in the number 1 spot right now. Final question for you. Will Ferrell turns 58 years old today. Outside of being a Kings fan, I think a lot of Oilers fans probably like him. What would you say are his top 3 pieces of work?
Go ahead.
I'm gonna go to his SNL days. I think he was so good as Alex Trebek on Jeopardy. So not a movie to start it off with though, but SNL, Jeopardy. Number 2, I will say probably Talladega Nights, and number 1, Step Brothers.
All right. I still got to go with Anchorman, the Legend of Ron Burgundy. That would be my number 1 for him. I actually thought he was really good in Zoolander. Right. It's definitely
Got to or whatever.
Yeah, the hair, the outfit was unreal. And honestly, he was really funny in The Other Guys.
Yeah.
So but yeah, I don't know. How can I not? I got to go with Frank the Tank, though. So I got to reword that in old school. So I'll have him in my top 3. And I guess I will kick out. I'll kick out Zoolander.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Not the starring role, I suppose, but
Yes.
he was good in that one.
Oh God, so like when he had the same haircut as the poodle, that part was what just put it over the top. I thought it was hilarious. I don't know if people caught on that, right? But you remember the little poodle? Was it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a poodle, right? He had the white poodle. And he kind of had his hair parted, right? I was like parted big time down the middle, and then it was fluffed up on both sides, just like his dog. So
we might actually have that up on the YouTube stream.
Oh, really?
I think Declan has the picture.
Oh yeah,
of his many roles.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I see him there right beside Elf. That was another classic, but yeah, like he's pretty funny. What was it at the ESPYs when he accepted the award, when it wasn't like he was accepting the award? Was it for Tiger Woods? Right, yeah, he was just like, Tiger's not here, but then he acted like he was Tiger Woods. Like that was pretty funny. So Will is funny. I know other fans don't like him, but really, how can you not like Will? Like, he never beats your team. Like, his team never beats your team, so you shouldn't be that upset. You'd be like, Will. Other fans should probably be like, Will, why don't you come cheer for a winner? Right? You could easily chirp him. So that one couldn't be that bad. So
another good SB skit with Drake and DeMar DeRozan. I don't know if you remember that one.
Oh yeah,
DeMar. Well, DeMar, I hear it. The less I like it.
Well, that might have been Drake's funniest line ever said.
Yeah, probably.
Right. So, oh man, yeah, he's had some like lots of laughs. Are you guys speaking of comedy shows? Will you be watching Happy Gilmore 2? It's coming out on Netflix. I think it's later this month.
28th or 29th, I believe. I don't want to.
Why? Because you don't think it'll be as good?
I think he might have had the biggest drop off of any actor in Hollywood history.
Really?
What has he been in that's good since like the first? What's the buddy movie? Grown Ups. Since the first Grown Ups. And even before that, he had bad ones.
Well, some of his movies aren't great. I would agree with you.
Okay, Hustle dropped in there is pretty good. I get the other basketball one where he was coaching the guy who was from the Eastern Europe and brought him over.
Dude,
that was okay.
Jack and Jill might have been his worst movie of all time.
Terrible.
Like that movie was pretty bad.
Or Hubie Halloween.
Okay, I haven't seen that one.
He signed a deal with Netflix to do all these movies, and I feel like he just pumped them out.
Oh, see, I didn't watch any of those.
That's
okay.
You did yourself a favor.
Okay.
And that's why I'm worried about Happy Gilmore 2.
Grown Ups was funny.
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah, you didn't like. I didn't watch the second one, so
yeah, it dropped off.
Well, but most seconds are never as good.
That's true,
right? Like, there's very few sequels that are as good. There's the odd one, yes. You don't have to text them in. We know there's some, like Lord of the Rings is good. Obviously, the Star Wars. There's Rocky. There's been some good ones for sure, but there's a lot that aren't. That's just, and I think sometimes, like, I'm trying to think of a comedy where the second one was as good as the first one.
I think Ted 2 was pretty decent. Austin Powers. Granted, I was young and my sense of humor was very immature, but the second and third I thought held up.
Like Anchorman 2, that's good. The Legend Continues. It was okay. But it's hard sometimes because some of the lines that come up with, you can't repeat them. Like, they don't, because you know what it is and it works so great the first time you heard it. So, but there's not many comedies though that a second one comes around, you're like, oh yeah, that was very good. So
Donovan's here. He threw out 22 Jump Street. And I would agree. I thought that one was good as well.
Oh yeah. With Jonah
and Channing Tatum.
Yeah, no, that's not bad. We've had a few saying, hey boys, all 3 hangovers were good. Levi.
Not as good as the first.
No, they weren't as good. The second one was close, but not. Hey guys, Home Alone 2 might be better than the first one.
Yeah, I do like the second one.
Second one, that's a good one. I will give you that. Hey guys, Hot Shots Part 2. Danny, the fact that you pulled out Hot Shots Part 2 is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Oh my God. Hey guys, Little Nicky might have been the worst. That was a terrible movie. Oh God. He did have a few that were just, they're bad.
Yeah.
Real bad. But hey, when you make that many good movies, they're not all going to be great, right?
It's true. It is.
And I do think comedies can flop like pretty hard, right? Like dramas, trying to think of like dramas you're like, oh my God, these are the worst, right? Comedies have more potential to just tank. So, hey guys, Will Ferrell. I know it's not my favorite, but I always thought Semi-Pro was underrated. It was actually not bad.
I actually really do like that one.
Yeah, Semi-Pro is pretty good.
Everybody love everybody.
Yeah. Let's take a quick break. Mark Spector will join us. We also got Peter Aubrey, the goalie coach of the Oilers, coming up. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by 01 Hockeyology. If you're looking to improve your game, whether it's skating, whether it's on ice or off ice, you can get a membership for only $300 a month. Go to 01.ca. Sign up today.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
The NHL schedule was released earlier today. The Oilers will kick off the season against the Flames on October 8th. The Stanley Cup rematch in Sunrise goes November 22nd, and the season will wrap up at Rogers Place as the Oilers taking on the Vancouver Canucks April 16th. In the association, Bradley Beal and the Suns agreeing to a contract buyout. He's expected to sign a 2-year, $11 million deal with the Clippers once it is official. In the CFL, Sean Lemon has been reinstated by the league. He was suspended indefinitely back in 2024 for wagering on league games in 2021. Any future violations of the league's match manipulation policy will result in a lifetime ban. And you got WCL All-Star Game tonight. 3 Riverhawks taking part. First pitch, 7:35. Riverhawks back in action at home on Friday, taking on Kamloops. In the WNBA tonight, you've got the Fever and Liberty. No Caitlin Clark for Indiana in this one with a groin injury. And the Aces taking on the Wings. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and hear the replay of our interview earlier with Oilers' new goaltending coach, Peter Aubrey. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Are you looking for safe and professional travel options?
Love
no further than Silent Rides, one of Alberta's
I always love
charter companies. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer state-of-the-art motor coaches, first-class service, and affordable rates. Get your
Jason
quote
Gregor.
today. For more
Understand that
information,
it
call
was Mitch's right
1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Connor Halley, Sports.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm.
To
and
01.
favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports,
You hit the
and
ball
lottery
high
all
up
in
twice
one
in
app.
sports for a few
Download the
days.
Play
All-Star
Alberta
game,
app
but
today and deposit
to
$20
roll.
or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a
See, like I've got
$100
like sorry, Red.
bonus
Like
on
playing
a
catch.
Usually it takes 3 or 4 holes to warm up,
Remember,
and by that
if you
time,
gamble,
I'd be more.
use your game
Jason
sense.
Gregor by
Reports
Play
suggest
Alberta.
that Canadian taste
Yeah,
buds
awesome.
are bored to
There you go.
tears.
Can't handle another
Wanna
dull
date.
drink.
Summertime
We'll see.
smoothie experts
Um,
everywhere.
I
are
saw
recommending a
Scheffler's thing.
watermelon
I think he
wake-up
made
from
money, not just
Booster
for
Juice.
they give you the cold or something. It's a real
cool, and refreshing.
celebration.
And
But I do
ridiculously
think at times in sports
Enjoy the watermelon
you
wave
don't.
and
So that's why I
watermelon
think
explosion
we have to
smoothie
focus on
available all summer
enjoying
long
the
at
step.
a
How
Booster
you doing?
Juice
Good.
near you. Stay cool,
Walking
Canada.
by.
Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV. Our average used RV sells for around 30 grand. Some are more, some are less. And literally no one has 30 G's just sitting in their checking account.
Monthly payments are the best way to get the used RV that's right for your family.
That's right, Bob. Financing should be a stress-free process. But let me tell you a little secret. My granddaughters think I'm a model citizen when I was young once. And if you look back into my credit history, you can see that it wasn't always excellent.
Perfect credit is nice, but not easily achievable.
You said it, Bob. But less than perfect credit is not a good reason to keep you from the great outdoors this season. I built our financing plans for the real world. And in the real world, nobody has a perfect credit score. So let's talk about how easy it is to make your favorite used RV affordable. As long as you promise not to tell Saxon and Goldie that I'm not perfect.
And that's no bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
Afternoon, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having an awesome Wednesday afternoon as it's time to get to the spec report brought to you by GS Construction, your underground infrastructure specialists who are hiring. If you're looking for not only a job, but a great career with opportunities to rise up through GS Construction, we'll go to gsconstruction.ca and apply today. As Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us. Spec, how you doing?
Not bad. Not much going on. I was just checking out the TV tonight. There's no baseball. The ESPYs are on. Like, do people want to watch the ESPYs? Have you ever watched the ESPYs?
I've watched it before. There's a few funny. Jamie Foxx, when he did his Serena Williams song, that's still probably one of the funniest moments I recall from the ESPYs. Right? That was a classic song, actually. And there's been some pretty good chirps amongst the hosts over time, so I don't mind it. Like, I find the monologues usually some of the best parts, like some of those award shows. But yeah, I don't watch it probably much longer past maybe the opening monologue.
Yeah, okay. Well, that'll take up 20 minutes of my night then.
Yeah, well, dude, go hit some golf balls, man. Read a book.
That's it. It's getting the bike. Good night to get outside and do something here.
To me, I think it's great when you get some time away from it and can do other things. I'm actually reading an unreal book right now about, I didn't even know this happened in 2018 in Laredo, Texas. A guy who was he actually worked the border patrol, and he turned out to be a serial killer, killing all these women. It's a crazy book, but I love true stories and stuff. Like, this happened in 2018, for goodness sakes. Like, it's not long ago, and I never even seen it anywhere before. So the killer behind the badge. Yeah, it's great. The book is being phenomenal. Like, when you have a good writer, and it's just like how they, like, I can visualize the people and how he describes them and stuff. Is fantastic book. So I recommend that. So, man, I
wouldn't know anything about good writing. Sorry, I can't help you.
Yeah, that's okay, buddy. I don't understand it, but well, didn't you have a ghostwriter write your book before? No.
Yeah. No, if I did, it would have been better.
The NHL sked came out, Spec, and the Oilers will be road warriors early on, especially up until Christmas. All 16 of their road games against the Eastern Conference will be wrapped up on December 18th. And I went back, I could not find to not have to go out east after December. Like, that's a lot. Now, it is only 3 trips. That's the other thing, Spec. They put all 16 of those games in 3 road trips, a 5-gamer, a 7-gamer, and then they have a 5-gamer that includes Minnesota at the end. So their total distance traveled will be less this year, I would think, just because of that, just the fact that they're going all the 16 games in 3 trips.
Yeah, that's the time for this. Early in the season, players love road trips, right? You know, they've been at home all summer, lots of family time. It's a new team. You got new guys. It's rookie dinners. It's getting to know each other. So it's a really good schedule for the Oilers. I was looking at it today. Get your travel out of the way, the first half of the season. And then when the injuries start to come and the dog days come and you're starting to, we're into game 50, 60, 70. Now you're not traveling as far. And now you're playing meaningful games against conference opponents. So I quite like the schedule. I a couple of the trips are fairly lengthy, like they tack on a Detroit, Ottawa onto the New York trip and things like that. But I think it's good. It's early in the season. They fly comfortably on their nice charter planes. It ain't that bad once you get out there to go to another town. So I think it's a pretty good schedule for Evan and Jake.
Oh yeah, I don't have much of an issue with now. The risk is with all the road games early on. Like I know everyone's like, hey, the team can bond, and that's all good in theory, but you still have to play well, and you want to avoid injuries. But it does line up with the potential to be a better one, because not only do they have lots of road games early, even in the month of April, where, the last few years they've had kind of a busier schedule. They don't really have, like, even March isn't that busy. April, they only play 7 games in April. That's it. Right. And leading up to the playoffs. So 7 games in the first 16 days of the month, and the playoffs usually, if they're on a Thursday, so the Oilers at the earliest are starting the Sunday, probably the Monday. Yep. So they'll only play 7 games in the first 19 days of the month. That's that's an ability to be rested or more rested going into the postseason if they want.
Well, and depending on where you sit and how important the games are, right? You look at their, they close out with, they got a little road trip at the end, halfway through April in Utah, San Jose, LA. You finish off at home against Vancouver. The Vancouver game might mean nothing. So yeah, not very busy in April, right? 2, 4, 6, 7 games in the first, I'm going to say the first 18 days, and probably the playoffs will start like the 19th. So that's good. They're a playoff team. They're going to be in the playoffs unless something goes crazy wrong. So let's see. Listen, they've made it through all these, whatever the schedule is. It hasn't stopped them from getting to 2 Stanley Cups in a row. So yes, we may be overstating the whole schedule thing a little, but generally speaking, I like the looks of the schedule. The heavy lifting gets out of the way early. And I love the fact that I'm looking forward to the 84 game schedule when you get the extra Flames game and things like that, right?
Well, no, you do have 4 games this year. It's just for the last 2 seasons, inexplicably, it made no sense that
yes,
they decided to cut it down. Like I always said, for years the NHL could have solved the problem by just having those 2 extra games would take off the Central. And so you'd play 6 teams in the Central 3 times and 2 teams in the Central twice. That made way more sense than having unbalanced in your own division, when your division was what settles the power play stand, the playoff stands. Like, it made no sense to me. And it's like, why? Well, we need to get 2 more games to make it even. No, you don't. Because guess what? Once you get to 34 teams, it ain't going to matter anyway.
I wonder if once they get to 34 teams, if they go back down to 82 games, no chance of that happening, right?
Well, they did it before, right? They had 2 seasons of 84 games and then went back. So I guess they could do it again.
I guess, but hey, listen, at least the bright side of the coin is no more 8 preseason games, which was just ridiculously crazy. It is interesting. I was with a friend today, George Cochran, and he's out of BC minor hockey, and he was talking about how, like, that Penticton tournament is no more, right, for the rookies.
Yeah.
And you'd think with only 4 preseason games that those rookie tournaments may actually be more important now. It would be a chance to get a look at guys that, listen, when there's 4 games, how many games are your rookies going to get? There's guys that won't even get 1 game, or they'll get 1 and they'll get shipped back to junior. I'd be interested to see if the changing sort of number of preseason games, the downsizing of the NHL preseason, I wonder if that breathes any life into those rookie tournaments again.
Potentially. Well, I really heard this one was, it didn't change because Vancouver didn't want to share it, right? Like Edmonton and Calgary saying, hey, can we have it in Red Deer sometime? And it just didn't happen. So, maybe it's like anything, you can revisit it later. And sometimes absence makes the heart grow fonder. And maybe they're like, hey, let's bring it back again. But you might just have the Flames and the Oilers do 2 games, rookies, and that's probably lots, right? To be honest. Because let's be honest, Jack, like out of those rookie games, it's just like the preseason game. Any real rookie is either going to make the team or is going to the American League. A guy to play 1 game to go back to junior, who cares? He's not an NHL player then anyway. So does he really need a preseason game at that point? Like other than, hey kid, here's great. Like, I don't know. I don't think those early preseason games against a bunch of other juniors and AHL guys really matter, to be honest.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, if you're the kid, I'd probably beg to differ, to be able to play a game in the Oilers uniform in Rogers Place. And I get it. You're playing against the other team's rookies, but still, listen, either way, in today's world, I think with development camps and all the scouting that goes on, we know how good these guys are. We don't need to see them in the Penticton rookie tournament to be able to evaluate and say, oh, hey, this guy's better than we thought. They know how good they are. They know who's making the team before the season starts pretty much, right, Jay? Like, it's not like there's 7 spots on the Oilers. It's wide open for competition here. But I just enjoyed it, certainly, and maybe I'm being selfish here. I thought they're a really good gathering place for hockey as the season begins. A bunch of scouts show up. All the GMs are there. It's low stress. As a journalist, I used to go there, talk to the GMs and get really good stuff because everyone's wearing a pair of flip-flops and shorts and they're chilled. Chris Knobloch's there with not much to do, and he's got time to talk hockey with you. So I like the format. I miss the Penticton tournament, but I get it. They don't put those things on for guys like you and me. I understand that.
Yeah, no, from that perspective, I can understand it. But from a playing perspective, I could see, like, if Edmonton and Calgary play twice as rookies, which they've done, I think they could do it again. And, that's okay. Do it one in Red Deer or you split in Edmonton, and I think it'll work out. We did have Pete Aubrey. We're going to replay it earlier. The Oilers' new goaltending coach. And, just speaking about kind of where he's at, he's already had conversations with Skinner and Pickard and Matt Tompkins. And the Oilers, my understanding, Spec, is, a goalie department is something that could be part of the future. Not right now, but maybe as early as next season.
Okay, well, that's good. So I don't know, if that means that Aubrey's the guy that heads it, or if someone comes in above him, or I think, it's always tricky trying to find the right hire. Sometimes he's not there in a particular summer. Sometimes everyone's under contract. Sometimes the next season, there's a couple guys whose contracts are up who you want. And you can't always do things like maybe you wanted to build a goalie department this summer, but a couple of the guys that you want and that maybe want to come here, they're just not available yet. I think the metaphor is when Ken Holland went out to get a goalie and the only guy left was Jack Campbell. And he said, I got to get a goalie. And he got Jack Campbell, and it was a bad idea. So sometimes you have to be patient, so if it takes an extra year, it takes an extra year.
Yes, no, and to put it lightly, it was a bad idea. Like, they're still paying the price of that still now. Yeah, like it is not.
We need to put it in perspective. There was a ton of pressure in this market from every fan and every media guy. You got to find a goalie. You got to find a goalie. More so than we even was on Bowman this summer. And Ken Holland, as a professional GM, he should. Let's face it, he got bad advice from his scouts. It shouldn't have happened. He got a goalie that wasn't any good. But we all wanted a goalie in this town, and we got one. And then we said, what are you doing getting that guy? Well, didn't turn out so great, did it?
Getting a goalie doesn't mean getting a bad goalie. So,
there was no other goalies available, Jay.
But it's like this year. Many people have been freaking out that the Oilers didn't get a goalie for Skinner. Yep. I said at the end of the season, I'm like, where's the obvious upgrade? Like, I'm talking clear cut, obvious upgrade. And there wasn't one that's available. And Stan Bowman said, hey, you know what? Now, that doesn't mean that they're not going to look at different times. And I still think we might see another goalie come in to battle Calvin Pickard. I won't be surprised by that. but I didn't see. So to me, whether you're a fan, it's the old adage: if you're going to listen to the fans and media, then soon you'll be one. So to me, I'm not giving them an excuse. Wow, people called for it, so we got to say nothing. No, not many people were calling for Jack Campbell to say this guy's the savior. Now, if you would have signed Jack Campbell for a 2-year deal, okay, but get a goalie on a 5-year deal after he's done nothing to prove for 5 years. I'm sorry, like there's nothing to, and I like Ken. Defend that signing.
I like Ken. It was one of the horrible signings. I'm not here to defend that. It was a horrible signing. So I mean, I guess I applaud Bowman this summer, for not going out and just getting a goalie for the sake of getting a goalie. Clearly the trade wasn't there. There wasn't a free agent that you wanted or that you liked. And okay, kick it down the road a little bit. I'm with you. During the season, guys open up that weren't open in June and May, right? So let's see what happens. If they still need a goalie in the middle of the season, I'll bet you there will be somebody available that you'll like more. Yes,
you would think so. Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us. Spec, one last one. Looking at the Oilers, and we talked about the schedule and everything, but you look at that Connor McDavid now. It's July 16th. Is this enough time? Do they start to make some conversations? Or do you think they wait a bit longer to engage?
No, I would suggest that it's conversation time. Like, I think you got to look at everybody's day timer. Bowman had the draft, then he had the deadline, and then he had to get his coaches sorted here, right? And, I think the McDavid camp's just sitting back watching him work and seeing what we're doing here. What's the plan? Who are we bringing in? How are we handling this? How do we do in free agency? What are we thinking about? Did we, he makes that trade. He makes the trade with Tampa, brings in a young player. Hey, that kind of came out of the blue for us. So good work. So now I think the GM's chores have settled, right? He's got Bouchard signed. There's really no imminent signing left other than McDavid. McDavid has been patient. I think probably now, if not in the middle of this week, very shortly, I would say that Judd Moldaver and Bowman are going to start to get a little bit closer on things. I mean, I got to say to you, Jay, doesn't the McDavid camp just fill in the blanks and pass the contract back to Bowman? Like, is there any negotiation when you're Stan Bowman on this contract?
Yeah, maybe term, but yeah, there's not a huge amount here. I still think there'll be some, term. Let's say he only wants 3 years, then you'll try to negotiate to get longer for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
I think there could be
in
some.
the end, if McDavid says, I'm not going past 4 years. If I'm Stan Bowman, what do I say? Okay. Right.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah. There's not but like Rich Winter had said before as an agent, he goes, the big contracts are usually the easiest ones to negotiate. So
is that right?
Yeah. That's what he said as an agent. Goes, that's not where you really have to grind and earn your keep as an agent. It's more, it's more, getting a contract for the guy who might be a 13th or 14th forward. He feels like that's where you really got to grind and get it out. So, it wouldn't be hard. You're right. At this point, be like, hey, Connor wants this. We kind of know what the going rate's going to be. What do you want to get him paid? Okay, here we go. Thank you very much. Right.
I think so. And I think that's why the patience is there. We know Connor McDavid's not edgy. He's not sitting out in, Ontario right now going, oh my God, like, we got to get this done. Like, that's just, there's none of that going on. So the stress level is low on this deal other than Oilers fans. Hey, listen, everybody in this market, like, I'm waiting for that day. We all believe he's going to sign. Jay, I know you think he's going to sign. I bet you my house he's going to sign. But until he signs, he's not signed. So you want to see McDavid put his name on that next contract. And that's sort of the final brick in the Oilers' wall here. And I don't mind the team they built this summer. I think Bowman's done a pretty good job. You tack on a McDavid contract, I'm not sure how you can complain much about his work.
Spec, have yourself an awesome evening. We will chat with you tomorrow.
All right, man.
There you go. That's Mark Spector, the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. It wasn't on the ice, officially. But the Oilers did make another change. They got a new goalie coach, Peter Aubrey. He'll join us next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Do you Extreme Crust Alert at Papa John's. Your favorite cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new Cheddar Crust Pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's pizza makers created the perfect addition to their crust by melting garlic and herb seasoned cheddar cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's made with 6 simple ingredients. Try a one-topping Cheddar Crust Pizza today for only $17.99. You better hurry though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
The Discover Days sales event has been extended at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Lease a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save $7,500. Final month extended. Lease or finance a 2025 XC60 from 0.49% and save $4,000. Save up to $7,500 on a 2025 demo XC40. Come and discover the deals now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
I would just go to Marty and tell them,
And now Action Electrical's testing team is on defense duty. They're the guardians of safety and compliance, a critical part of any lineup.
Precisely. They perform rigorous safety and code compliance testing for commercial operations. Think of them as the referees, ensuring everything is up to standard before disaster strikes.
Their preventative plays are legendary, spotting faults early. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Canada's biggest appliance sale is at the Brick. Get up to $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Convertible fridge freezers start at just $199. Barbecue start at just $299. Get up to 60% off clearance models and below-cost scratch and dent items in-store only. Plus, pay 0% interest on appliances until 2029. Best of all, they'll beat any competitor's advertised price. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
The Hoop City 3x3 Festival takes over the Ice Palace at West Edmonton Mall from July 31st to August 3rd. See professionals and Olympians battle for ranking points and cash prizes in 3 different FIBA 3x3 events. Free admission. Details at sports1440.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your #1 air conditioning company. So when you can't take living in oppressive heat any longer, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If your hot, sticky sheets keep you up all night, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you've decided that you deserve to be cool and comfortable, call Legacy. Call Legacy. And with no payments, no interest.
You're listening to the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Congratulations, man. How you doing?
It's happened again, and
Which one do you
construction
prefer?
season is in full swing.
Either or,
Job
I guess
delayed,
probably
money
Peter.
lost, and
Certainly
clients
if it's written
disappointed
down, it's a
because
little more
your
balanced,
rigging
so,
failed and it wasn't
All right, well, we'll go with it, man. I always like to know, so that's good. So, Peter, obviously, you're in the
safety harnesses checked with Titan Supply. Titan Supply offers certified on-site and in-house rigging inspections and service, so they can repair it, replace it, and recertify it. Titan Supply in Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary, and at titansupply.ca. Lift, dig, haul.
We're brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? Buy Canadian. Cantork's products are not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at cantork.com.
Hat-tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.532. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. As we get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Rides Charter Company, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches that safely take you or your group to your next destination. Book your ride today at silentrides.ca. And we caught up with the new goalie coach of the Edmonton Oilers, Peter Aubrey. Here's that conversation. Peter, obviously you were in the NHL for 8 years in the Chicago organization, and then you spent the last few seasons in NCAA. Kind of walk us through, obviously you and Stan Bowman have a history, but the conversations maybe with you and Stan, but also with Chris Knobloch, and how you got this gig.
Yeah, no, thanks. Yeah, obviously I have that relationship with Stan and certainly enjoy working for him in Chicago. And that was the first point of contact in this process. And, you know, again, like it's Chris's team, it's Chris's staff, and Stan's like, hey, I like you. I think you could be a really good fit, and I want you and Chris to connect and talk. And that was great talking with Chris and getting to know him and see how he likes to do things. And yeah, evidently he thought it'd be a good fit as well.
So, Peter, when you come in as the goalie coach, obviously, you know, you can't change a goalie. You know, there's certain things that they just, you know, can't do. For instance, people tell me, hey, Stuart Skinner's got a narrow stance. It's never going to change, right? So you work on things. When you come in as the goalie coach now, it's a new organization. What is step one in the process for you when you start working? I guess let's start with the NHL guys first, and Skinner and Pickard.
Yeah, I mean, I guess step one, I'll take it back to the interview process and just going through a ton of video to really get a feel for their games, you know, outside of just being a fan and watching NHL hockey and playoffs and whatnot. So doing a deeper dive there to get a feel and certainly have my thoughts and assessment with that. And then the next step with that is, yeah, I've had calls with you know, Stewart, Calvin, and Matt Tompkins so far. So getting to know them as people and how they tick and what they're thinking about their game. So I'm really big on that human element to get things started. And then, yeah, I even just got off the phone with Stewart and Matt both today as well. So getting to know them and how they process the game. And then to your point there, like you're accentuating their strengths and enhancing that and making those even better.
So you mentioned how you get off the phone with them because you want to just sense, like, you know, what do they see? And a lot of it is, you know, understanding how they view the game. And I guess, you know, is it too early to say, like, what are you looking at improving this year? You kind of ask questions, or you got to see them on the ice before you get to that point?
I think it's all of that. I think innately, just as a hockey guy, a goalie guy, you watch goalies and it's probably maybe too natural of all of us to maybe form opinions or thoughts or apply our expertise. So I have that, but I try to hold that in one hand, but then as you're talking to them and what's their perspective on that. So where is some overlap on the thoughts right there? Perhaps where some ideas or openings where, hey, they suggest, hey, I really want to improve this in my game, or this is what I really like, and where can we take that? So I think that's where it starts, and you find those commonalities first and really accentuate those points. And then, you know, if there's something that I think I'm like, hey, have you considered this? And yeah, we talk about, we do video, and we're not at the stage yet of getting on the ice together, but we certainly get on the ice together and create some situations and have them solve those problems.
Peter Aubrey joins us, a new goalie coach of the Oilers. You know, the good news about being a cup contending team is you go to the cup final. The bad news is it's a short off season. And so here we are. It's already the middle of July. You know, there's less than 2 months really before training camp. So do you need to get on the ice right away with some of these guys? What's kind of the plan of attack, or of when you want to see them face to face?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, I guess we're still in the conversation mode, but yeah, no question, I'll get on the ice with them at some point, whether it's, you know, Stewart does some stuff in Kelowna going on. Talked to Calvin the other day about some stuff pre-training camp, and actually that was what the conversation with Matt Tompkins was just about. So again, I wish I had a better answer for you or more info to give you, but right now it's like, yes, I will get on the ice with them before the season, but just have to leave it at that at this point.
Now, we know that Stewart's in Kelowna, and he works with Adam Francilia, who's a trainer, right? He works on a lot of biomechanics, so he doesn't do a ton of like RVH or any of the technical stuff, but do you have to have do you and Francilia have a conversation as well about, you know, what are some of the things they're working on and maybe how that can jive with what you want to do on the ice?
Yeah, and again, like I'm just not at that point as I haven't yet met Adam, but again, I like working with people and learning from people and sharing ideas, and certainly makes you refine my own ideas and stuff. So we haven't done that yet, but that's going to be in the cards here. Yeah. But yeah, I'm all about, like, kind of as I mentioned before, like on the ice we're creating drills or whatever you want to call it, creating situations where the player solves the problem. And I'm just a big believer in the body sorts itself. We're going to create a situation and Stewart's body's going to sort it, and we're going to create some constraints on certain elements that maybe encourage a certain behavior or whatnot. So yeah, body movement, like, and that all working together, like that's fantastic.
Yeah, now that's very fascinating how the body kind of sorts itself. I know talking to some other, goalie analysts and even Stewart, like if there's one thing, at times, he rotates a little bit of a over rotation at times when he comes across and you end up spinning on the ice. And I'm far from a goalie expert. Peters, you can probably attest from how I worded that. But is that like, as a goalie coach, when you look at something like that, I don't think it's a snap your finger and, we do one motion and magically it's there. It's just, how do you build like those consistent patterns over and over so that allows the goalie to, to have trust in his motions at certain times or certain areas of the ice?
Yeah, I guess like as you talked about getting into the actual skill acquisition part, and with two parts of that, of one, reading your environment, which is first and foremost in hockey terms when you say reading the play.
Yeah.
But we're looking to take our cues from the environment. Now, if we have a separate bucket, we can talk about the actual physical capacities to do a move or movement or whatnot. Sure, we can work on those, I think, a little bit ahead of time. I know myself, like I talk about replicating sensations. What does that feel like? How can we repeat that sort of stuff and not getting too stuck in the weeds of, hey, let's make sure our elbow is at this angle or whatnot with that internal focus, because that's just not, you were talking about the home run derby yesterday. Those guys aren't thinking about their elbow position when they're taking a cut. They're feeling nice and good and everything's working together. So look to apply that as well with the goalies. Now, again, I did mention we put in perhaps some constraints for how we do things, or maybe even balance. I guess as I'm rambling here, balance is a big thing. Maybe we're starting to drill in a slightly uncomfortable position, so our body has to reorganize itself. So again, I know I'm kind of jumping a little bit all over the place right there, but yeah, I think you can work on the physical capacities of someone. But when it truly becomes a skill, it's when they have that cue from the external environment and being able to read the play so now it works together and it's retained to use in a game.
Peter Aubrey joins us, goalie coach of the Edmonton Oilers. Reading the play is massive, Peter. You've been a goalie coach now for over a decade plus. What are some things you've learned early on till now that you can help a goalie understand in reading the play and where they can improve on their reads?
Well, I think at the end of the day, the reason we all get scored on is something happens too fast for us. Even if we make a bonehead play and make a mistake, we run out of time to go and correct that. So we talk about putting ourselves in positions. Let's make that game slower. How can maybe we do our part to create a straight line shot instead of, a little bit of a lateral play where we're able to control that with our positioning and whatnot. So again, with that, I wish I had a better answer for you, but you talk about it, like know your environment. What's the most dangerous threat? What's the most likely threat? And I think as you constantly train where now the athlete's able to scan their situation, I think that improves their reads. And then obviously video as well is a wonderful tool for their play reading.
And a lot of that in your experience when you work with guys like we talk about defensemen and defenseman needs 300 games to really kind of understand the nuances of the position. Goaltenders historically under the age of 25, there's not many of them in the NHL. There's a few Marc-Andre Fleury's and a few outliers. And as part of that, they take longer to understand reads that allows you to play better as a goalie.
Ooh. There's a lot there with that. I think that a big thing with the goalie is you're not overly protected. You need a well-rounded game.
Okay.
And so just to compare it to maybe a defenseman or forward that gets called up from the American League, okay, that forward can go get us 6 minutes. That forward can be, maybe he can go play the wing instead of having down low center responsibility. So you can do little things like that with the matchup, whereas you have a young goalie coming up, he needs to be well-rounded because he might be facing a 5v3 power play coming on. So I think just the overall rounded game. Oh, sorry, I got the ring camera going off. The well-rounded game is one thing that really makes it to take longer because I think the forwards and D can play a little bit sooner without being as well-rounded as what is necessitated at the goaltender position.
And when you talk a well-rounded game for a goalie, what would you put in the necessary pieces to be well-rounded?
Oh, wow. That's another great question. Well, I guess I really like to live with 4, I'll say, little pillars or whatnot of the first part, like you said, of reading the play, which is incredibly important. So if we throw out all the technical stuff, if we're to take a really good AAA forward, a 12-year-old forward, and he plays goalie against a bunch of 8-year-old players, he's going to do really well regardless of technique because he's going to read the play. So that's a big, pillar for me. And then after we have the reading the play, I like to just look at, okay, where is the goalie in that moment? How's his positioning? Firm believer in positioning is going to stop more pucks than anything else. Then after our positioning, okay, well, we're covering something. So now what's behind us? We have to understand our coverage. So those are 3 big parts right there. And then for me, the puck stopping mentality. These are high level athletes. There's certainly a level of compete that's necessary. So those are my big pillars, I guess, that I like keep coming back to. And then again, within that, I was just talking about balance. You're going to have balance. You're going to have tracking. You're going to have the reacting game and blocking game and whatnot. But I like to live in that broader base area of what's happening in front of you, where you are, where we protect them behind us, and then a high compete level for puck stopping.
Peter, let's go back a little bit to kind of what got you interested in wanting to be a goalie coach.
That's another great question. You know what? I probably, just as I was getting older, I enjoyed it. I played college hockey. I probably, to be quite frank, I really wasn't great at goalie until maybe my junior year of college.
Okay.
And now you start hanging out with some people who are coaching goalies and actually realize, there can be a couple methods to this madness here. So probably just taking an affinity to that. And I'm actually quite proud, like as I was able to finish up college and play some pro hockey, I really had my focus on just kind of learning more about the position. So that's probably where I really took a step of like, man, this is something that I really want to do. And then, evolving as a coach, I started out with the goalie technical side of it. And then as I started my coaching, I'm actually quite proud. I was able to get my master's degree once I started coaching and having a family. And so there I put a lot more focus on human behavior and relationships. And I guess took that into pro hockey, where you learn more about analytics and then skill acquisition. So I guess that's a little bit my path. There's things that have impacted me through wanting and enjoying being a coach.
Peter Aubrey joins us, a new goalie coach for the Edmonton Oilers. And conversation. I always like to jasongregor.com or anywhere where you get your podcast and listen to the full one. Some excellent insight from your new goalie coach for the Edmonton Oilers. We'll come back, wrap things up. It is the Gregor Show, presented by playalberta.ca. Casino, live dealer, lottery, instance, sports betting. They got it all in one stop. Playalberta.ca.
The sun is shining, the weather's warm, and some of Edmonton's favorite sports are back in season. If you're looking for the cherry on top of a perfect summer day, check out Play Alberta to experience casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code SUMMER to claim a $100 casino bonus. That's promo code SUMMER for a $100 casino bonus on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
New crust alert at Papa John's. Your favorite cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new cheddar crust pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's pizza makers created the perfect addition to their crust by melting garlic and herb seasoned cheddar cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's made with 6 simple ingredients. Try a one-topping cheddar crust pizza today for only $17.99. You better hurry though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
What a performance by Action Electrical today. Their projects team kicked things off, designing and building with unmatched skill.
Then the service team swoops in for those crucial repairs and maintenance. And don't forget the testing team, ensuring everything's safe and sound before the solar team scores with sustainable energy.
A complete team effort. Have Action Electrical bring home a win for you and your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
So you're dying from the heat, sweat dripping on your sheets. You want to cool it down, but your AC can't compete. So you fall upon your knees and cry out, oh please, I need a cooling breeze. Send me Legacy's AC Repairman. Legacy's AC Repairman. AC Repairman. Can't spell Legacy
without AC. Legacy Heating and Cooling's got a guy who's really good at fixing broken ACs. So if you got one, call Legacy. Okay, see you later. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Reports suggest the Canadian taste buds are bored to tears.
My mouth can't handle another dull drink.
Summertime smoothie experts everywhere are recommending a watermelon wake-up from Booster Juice.
It's so smooth, cool, and refreshing.
And ridiculously delicious. Enjoy the Watermelon Wave and Watermelon Explosion smoothies, available all summer long at a Booster Juice near you. Stay cool, Canada.
Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Whoop, there it is. 4 days of basketball at its best. Hoop City 2025, North America's largest FIBA 3x3 showcase. The top 4 Olympic teams on both men's and women's categories, featuring Canada's women's Olympic team, with Edmonton's own Michelle and Catherine Blue. More than just hoops, there's entertainment, long-distance shootout, Grand Slam showcase, plus interactive games and prizes for everyone. Hoop City 3x3 Basketball Festival, July 31st to August 3rd, Ice Palace and West Edmonton Mall. Admission is free, so bring the whole family.
Ready for a career that's literally golden? V2 Gold just poured their first gold bar at the new mine in Nunavut, and you can be part of the foundation. They have 25 open roles for experienced mill operators on a fly-in, fly-out 3-week on, 3-week off rotation. Start with a base salary of $110,000 to $130,000 with all travel and benefits paid. These roles need to be filled now. Come to the Terrace Office Tower on July 17th and 18th. Email Edmonton Job Fair at b2gold.com to book an appointment. Bring your resume, references, and safety tickets.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Action Electrical. They're the most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta with 4 divisions and project service tag for solar and commercial or residential. Contact them today at actionelectrical.net.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best in sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We roll through Wednesday afternoon. It's time for the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Only no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit. Stay cool all summer long at legacyheating.ca. Cam Tate, longtime journalist in town. Cam was born with cerebral palsy. Cam's in a wheelchair, but due to the wonders of technology, his words finally can come to life in radio with the 2-minute warning.
Hey, Gregor. Remember last Wednesday when we talked about wheelchair tennis? You piped up, and thanks so very much for doing that. You said something, that you played sledge hockey. I'm glad you did. I think I'll buy you a hat. So I have a new idea, thoughtful, for you and your son. Why don't you and your son play wheelchair basketball in your living room? There you go. And your wife won't even get mad, we think, because you don't need any wheelchairs. Don't even need a ball. Seriously, now, I'm not sure, but I think there just might have something in your home called a Nintendo. Still with me, over there, Connor Halley. By the way, how's little Benny? Now, where were we? Oh yeah, Nintendo, right? Have you ever heard of Drag by Drive? One more time, now. Drag by Drive. It's a video game of the flagship sports of wheelchair sports. Wheelchair basketball, which was first started in rehab hospitals as a form of rehabilitation. It wheeled out of the medical model and grew to become a professional sports in some cities. For me, wheelchair ball has a soft spot in my heart. That's where, as a 20-year-old kid, I began covering the Edmonton-based Alberta Northern Lights for 10 years in the Edmonton Journal. Together, with my portable typewriter, I traveled with the Lights to Los Angeles, Eugene, Oregon, Vancouver, Las Vegas, Spokane, Dallas, and Lexington, Kentucky, and other centers. It was exciting, not only to see the sport grow, but to see the Lights become one of the best teams, and in 2005, became the first Canadian team to win the National Wheelchair Basketball Association Championship. There are some great wheelchair basketball teams in the Edmonton area. I'm going back to the future and see if we can get wheelchair basketball on the radar, because it's a hell of a sport. Get the kids involved. So then you go. And what do you think of this name for you and your son? Gregor's Gears. 2-minute warning. Tate, Gregor, Halley, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Sports 1440.
It's a great idea, Tater. It'd be fantastic. Wheelchair basketball. It's it's one of those things that you get a great you play any sport, you get a great appreciation for it, and that would likely be another one for sure. On behalf of Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Donovan Paulson, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching the show. If you missed any part of it, get the podcast anywhere you get your podcasts, or go to jasongregor.com, and the individual interviews are there. Have yourselves a wonderful evening. Here's a comment and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Well, your partner in power since 1975. For all your electrical needs, think EWEL.ca.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
The 2025-26 NHL schedule was released earlier today. The Oilers will host the Calgary Flames to kick off the season on October 8th. Stanley Cup rematch in Sunrise. Oilers taking on the Panthers November 22nd, and the season concludes at Rogers Place in a meeting with the Canucks on April 16th. In the association, Bradley Beal and the Phoenix Suns have agreed to a contract buyout. Beal is expected to sign a 2-year, $11 million deal with the Clippers once the buyout is official. And in the CFL, Sean Lemon has been reinstated by the league. Lemon was suspended indefinitely in 2024 for wagering on league games in 2021. Any future violations of the league's match manipulation policy will result in a lifetime ban. WCL All-Star Game today. 3 Riverhawks will take part. It gets going at 7:35 in Bellingham. Riverhawks are back in action on Friday, taking on Kamloops in the WNBA. 3 finals for you. Dream over the Sky, 86-49. The Mercury fall to the Lynx, 79-66. And the Storm over the Valkyries, 67-58. At the end of the first, the Fever trailed the Liberty, 32-24. No Caitlin Clark in that one with a groin injury. And at 6 o'clock, you got the Wings up against the Aces. That'll do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, we've got Fox Sports Radio all night long. Live local coverage resumes tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. with Kevin Carius. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio